everybody. Welcome to the seasonal Weebcast, which is like the weekly Weebcast, except that it actually happens when the title says that it should. The weekly Weebcast will be coming back very soon with the talk about A Silent Voice, though, which is in theaters probably right now as this podcast goes up, because these take a while to edit. Today we're going to be talking about all of the new anime of the fall 2017 season. And I'm joined today by my very special guests, Arcada, aka Tristan, aka Glass Reflection, the man with 1,000 names from YouTube.
I have 1,000 names? Jesus.
You have 3 names. That's you know.
It's more than most people, I guess.
And we are also joined by Bryant, aka Explanation Point, one of the coolest up-and-coming anime YouTubers, who also joined us on the last season of Weebcast.
Glad to be back, Jeff.
Glad to have you back, buddy.
Always fun. Always fun.
And today, we are also joined by my lovely assistant, Tenlaid Cosplay.
Really?
The much more talented cosplayer than I will ever be, Tenlaid Cosplay.
Oh, shucks.
The brains and looks of this relationship.
What else is there besides that?
I don't know, that Toru
I bring the money?
you did it the other day.
Yeah, the desire and drive to shill.
Yes, the shilling. I'm the shill in this relationship. But yeah, so we have a cast of 4 people. We're going to be trying to keep this down to under 3 hours. And blazing through all of these anime as fast as possible.
But you in the future
rules,
can
as
know
always,
whether or not we keep to that, because there's a little timer down at the bottom of the video. Feel free to type how much Jeff is a liar right now.
Yeah,
Just
start the comments right now. But we're going to be going right into the first anime of the season and talking about an anime about talking about Animegataris. Animegataris, I don't know. It's a very weird way of using the story word.
Animegataris.
Animegataris. That's what we're calling it from now on. So this is a show about a girl who really liked the mecha anime back in the day, but didn't remember what it was, and she joins an anime club to find out what it was. And there's a bunch of cute girls and a few weird boys, and it starts like the interesting thing about this one is that it starts as sort of like a very down-to-earth slice of life story, and then by the end of the first episode it becomes clear that it's going to get really weird and out there.
Better or worse than Genshiken? Because that's kind of my frame of reference, and also like maybe like my guideline, or like this is what you're aiming for any show about a otaku research club or anything of that kind of nature.
It's definitely not as good as Genshiken. So who here has seen it, just off the bat?
I've seen it.
Not me.
Okay, nope. So it'll be me and Bryant, I guess, talking about it. So it seems like a collection of just like tropey anime girls being cute together, but it quickly turns into something else at the end of the first episode, while still being that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a cat in their anime club who doesn't look like a regular cat, but everyone just treats like a regular cat, which apparently includes stepping on that regular cat.
I mean, well, everybody does.
By the look there in the promotional art, it seems to be a regular cat for anime standards.
That's very clearly a talking cat.
Yeah, then at the end of the first episode it talks, and it's like...
And no one's like... They just step on it, and I'm like, is it real? Is it a plush?
There's also like...
Just keep abusing the cat.
There's also a cursed hat. Or something. This was one of the first shows that I watched in my rush to watch everything for this season, so some details are a little hazy, but it's
welcome to Gryffindor. That's all I hear about when I hear cursed hat.
Yeah,
no,
it's
there's a magic beret in a locked closet that only one girl can open,
and like a creepy cursed
talking
guy
cat.
and there's
goofy,
a Chunibyo guy. Yeah, it's goofy. It's just kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was looking forward to this before the talking cat and the magic hat.
It's, I mean, if you want very thinly veiled references to anime that you like, this is a show that does that.
Some of them are pretty
But there
fun,
are other shows that already do that have better stories.
Yeah, there's like nothing actually unique about this, honestly. It's cute, but
I mean, the talking, like the way that it's turning into an anime, like from a what's ostensibly a down-to-earth story just transforming into an anime story is like an interesting premise, I guess.
But it's been done before and better. Like Haruhi.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just, if you like the designs of the girls, you can probably watch this for 12 episodes and be like, man, I wish Gamers was still running.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just, it's a show. It's a show. It exists.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on to the next show that we're talking about. That is also an apt description of that.
It's a show. That has
Black Clover, which is being billed as the
next fairy tale is what
Naruto.
I heard it called.
I've heard it. Watch Mojo says that it's the next Naruto.
Someone also says it's apparently Hiroaka's biggest competitor, which
what else is competing with Hiroaka?
Wait, okay.
One Piece?
Well, okay. I didn't think about that because I refuse to believe that One Piece is still running.
How can you compete with Hiroaka when Hiroaka isn't currently on the air? And if you're trying to talk about it because it's compared to last season, well, no, because then its biggest comparison would probably be Titan. What the fuck are you talking about? Get on.
It's because casual shonen fans only have room in their mind for one anime
at
a time. So by that they mean
right now they're all watching.
Watch.
Right now they should be watching Boruto then.
I don't know. It's definitely not the new Naruto because Naruto started strong.
Yeah, I mean, Boruto's dad was a great series. This has one of the weakest openings of any
But wait.
shows.
Did Boruto's dad actually start strong? I remember watching a couple episodes of that back in the day, and it was all right.
I think it started pretty strong. I mean,
the first episode definitely.
I don't know.
I mean, it had that kiss.
The first
it had that kiss. It was legendary.
the problem is though that came out so many years ago, and Black Clover's still trying to do it.
Yeah,
like
they're trying to do exactly what Naruto did with the annoying screaming kid.
But the premise of this show, because we've been talking about it as just a generic shonen thing, which it absolutely is.
Yeah. There's shonen premise.
But the like world building on top of that is it's set in a world where everyone can use magic, which you find out from subtle world building details, such as everybody saying, in this world, magic is everything. In this world. And it's set in this world where everyone can use magic, and a long time ago there was this demon king who was defeated apparently just like 3 blocks away from where the main character lives, because his skeleton's just still lying around. That's the one neat setting detail I remember. And the main character is this literally just a shonen protagonist template who can't use magic but instead can use anti-magic.
I'm looking at a synopsis. And while I'm reading it, my mind is auto-replacing some words. So it says that Asta is a young boy who dreams on becoming the greatest mage, in the back of my head, Hokage, in the kingdom.
Yep.
Only one problem: he can't use magic. AKA has no quirk. Luckily for him, he receives an incredibly rare 5-leaf clover grimoire, i.e. All Might's hair. That gives him the power of anti-magic. Someone who can't use quirks, can they really become like the greatest pirate ever? The Pirate King?
No,
and also
one thing's for sure, he'll never give up.
Too.
I want to be the thing. You can't be the thing. You don't have the special power. But I believe really hard that I can be the thing.
This is a combination of like all these other shonen tropes from all the other popular shows right now that are either just finished airing or are still airing. Like, my God.
It's literally just like somebody, like a committee looked at everything that's popular and is like, let's piece together a story from the most popular elements of that. Like, the whole character, like the characters of Asta and Yuno were created solely for the purpose of having a shonen rivalry without, I think, even thinking about what their personalities would be before that.
Honestly, I doubt it's more of a committee, and it's less of a committee. It's more of this one guy who's trying to write a manga being like, what can I hand them that they will accept so it sells?
And it's Shonen Jump, so
yeah.
It's Shonen Jump, so it worked.
I mean, Asta is literally just edgy Naruto, and Yuno is somehow edgier Sasuke.
Yeah, I would
somehow edgier.
I mean, like, the big emotional moment of the first episode is literally Yuno saying, "No, you're my rival." That's the only like emotionally impactful thing said in the whole first episode, and it's literally just, this is the trope we're doing. Oh, I wanted to do that trope so bad. Thank you for working with me on this. It's bad.
Also, is he an orphan? I think.
They're both orphans.
Yeah, of course.
They're rival orphans.
Of course they are.
It's a fantasy universe. Nobody has parents. What are you talking about? Parents aren't a thing.
And the like Asta literally spends half of his time climbing up the big monument to past people who've defeated the evil monsters and doing his own thing on it. Like it couldn't be more obvious of a Naruto knockoff mixed with a fairy tale knockoff, because it's about a magic guild.
Let's not forget that he spends the other half of his time yelling.
He spends 25% of his time yelling and 25% of his time sexually harassing the nun who runs their orphanage.
So it's worth noting maybe that it's the Japanese voice actor who plays the kid. It's his first ever role, and I think you can tell right away. This is one of the few instances where I feel like, as a foreigner, I can still say that's terrible voice acting.
Yeah,
I don't think that comes up in anime, like, from a Japanese point very often. We're like, damn, that Japanese voice actor sucks.
Yeah, well, but, he delivers every line with the exact same cadence, and the cadence sucks.
The cadence is loud.
Yeah, this is one of those shows that might actually like really benefit from Funimation dubbing it.
Yeah,
maybe.
Oh
God, maybe.
I'm not gonna hold my breath. When I've said things would be better with a dub, it gets dubbed, and then I've been proved wrong.
It'll either be better or funny.
Yeah,
that's true.
It can't get worse without getting funny.
Funny will make it funny.
Yeah. Oh God. And the second episode is just like they're 2 episodes in, halfway through their introduction of these characters, and they're already falling into the Studio Pierrot, let's draw this out as long as possible trope of just like throwing a flashback into a previous thing to extend out the fight. So like the first episode ends, the bad guy's like, I'm gonna kill you. Oh no, I've got a secret power. Second episode starts, I'm gonna kill you. Oh no, I've got a secret power. You're my rival. They have like an 8-hour-long flashback to every little thing from their childhood that made them want to be rivals, and then it cuts back and he kills him in one hit. And it's super unsatisfying, and even if I couldn't currently see the question mark episodes on MAL, which denotes a series that is going to be running forever, I could tell that this was something that they're just trying to milk for as much money as possible.
And I question, why are they trying to milk it? You guys are also making Boruto, which is still currently airing.
Yeah, Crunchyroll's pushing it really hard.
Well, yeah, because Hiroaka just ended, and there's a void there, and they're trying to see what will fill that void.
It's because Hiroaka ended, and Twin Star Exorcist is over, too. And Twin Star Exorcist was a big moneymaker for Crunchyroll. And this is worse. I would say substantially worse than Twin Star Exorcist.
Which is saying a lot.
Although, I will say, Studio Pierrot has not necessarily upped the quality of their animation, because there's still a lot of like really like stock still stiff character animations here, but they've at least upped the quality of their post-processing and their compositing work, because it looks edging towards the ufotable, CGI'd up everything, really nice lighting look. And that's nice. It looks better than early Naruto.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that.
I will say that the background art on this is really pretty.
Yeah. It
like,
doesn't
I like
have that
the world itself, even if it's not presented very well.
Yeah. I do really like that giant skeleton in the background. It's just a shame that the world behind all this great art is so
attached
nothing
to this show.
Yes. All right, moving on to the next video, or the next anime on this long list. We're talking about Blend S, a cute girls doing cute things show about cute maids at a cute maid cafe, who all have appeals to specific fetishes.
Yeah, so they're all cookie cutter archetypes. Wow, yes. So original. Oh, but it's part of the plot. Oh, yay. That makes it so much better.
They're all cookie-cutter archetypes who are being forced to fit into other cookie-cutter archetypes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting idea, even if it's, like, not a good show.
It's Oron in a cake shop. Gender bend.
Don't you dare say Oron in the same sentence as this garbage.
I'm doing it as a comparison piece, so you can tell how much this does not compare in a good light.
I will say that, like, it's got some decent jokes. It's cute, and it's funnier than most of these types of shows that I've seen.
It's an inoffensive comedy.
It feels like working with a gimmick is what I would call it. When I say working with a gimmick, I mean working the anime, just to clarify, not the process of working with a gimmick. So it's got sort of those same archetypes, but
working
the gimmick
had like 4 seasons, so it already had its own working with a gimmick.
Yeah. The thing that I would say kind of sets this apart a little bit is that the personas of these girls are different from their like real personalities in ways that are sometimes fun. Like the main character is just really sweet but awkward, which comes across as like sadistic and unpleasant. And then there's the tsundere, like the typical tsundere girl who actually is just like a huge nerd and wants to be friends with everybody. So that much is kind of like cute. Yeah. And like, there's
when the main character apologized to the two guys after her first shift, that was funny.
That was a cute moment, and the way that she's just like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" when she's just like panicking in her head and trying to figure out what to do, and that works. That's funny. And there's like that great moment where the tsundere character wants to get a Monster Hunter friend code from a guy in the cafe, and is just like, "Oh, well, here, stupid, let me set up online for you. I put myself in as a friend just to test it out." Like, I think there are cute moments, and I think it's fun, but that's it, you know? It's fun.
No, I called it, like, garbage for dramatic effect, but it's all right. I don't think there's anything this season that was really, really, really terrible. In the same way that Hajimete no Gal and Tenshi no 3P were terrible last season.
Oh boy, I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there is one show that's about as bad as Hajimete no Gal.
What a great segue.
Which is a great segue. If everybody's finished what they have to say about Blend S,
there's not much to say.
Yeah, it's just a fun whatever. So the next show, My Girlfriend is a Sho-bitch.
It's fucking terrible.
It's really bad, but
you know, it
like...
sounds it.
What?
It sounds it.
Yeah, it's got a 666 on MAL.
Perfect.
Which is as appropriate as scores get.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one thing I like the shitty ecchi anime. But this show, first of all, should not have been as long as it is. It should be like a 3-minute per episode series. And even then, the gags would be like, that was kind of funny.
Right.
Yeah. So the whole premise, as far as you can say that this show even really has a premise,
the synopsis on MAL is like a sentence long.
Yeah, after Shinozaki Haruka confesses to his class rep, he comes to find that the perfect class rep may be a little bit harder to handle than he previously thought, which is basically she's trying really hard to be pervy because that's what she thinks he wants. But so it's like this. It's one of those things that's becoming more and more common lately, which is a show where they just start and they're dating. I feel like these are a response to the long drawn out shoujo romance where nothing ever happens and it's just will they won't they forever. But a lot of
they're together, but it's not like great at all because they don't have a relationship.
Didn't Chivalry of a Failed Knight solve this like 2 years ago?
Chivalry solved this, or Monogatari solved this. But the problem is that they don't bother to come up with a justification for why literally anyone would like this main character, or why this girl would be literally sometimes bending over backwards to please him.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. She's like...
It's because they're the main characters, obviously.
Because, they're just so desirable, question mark. But what's, like... So it's a web series, and you can tell. Like it came from a web manga. And I feel like the content makes that obvious, and there's, like... The number of series that should be turned into a full-length series that are like start as web series, there's like maybe 3 of them that ever make it. Stop making web comics into full-length episodes,
No,
please.
don't stop making web comics into full-length things. I need my worm anime.
But hey, that's the
that's
show
true.
that we got. That's on Amazon Prime. Bullshit strike.
Good.
Whatever you call it down the
like
street.
This.
Yeah, do that.
Please.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather they get stuff like this than what they got last season. I mean...
Fucking everything.
Yeah, everything good last season was on them. But yeah, Sho-bitch is just... it's not as offensively awful as Hajimete no Gal.
And that's what I was talking about when I said that there wasn't anything that bad this season. Like, Sho-bitch is, it's terrible from a writing standpoint, and the characters are all super bland, there's really nothing to like here. But I don't watch it and think, wow, I'm so ashamed to be an anime fan.
Yeah.
It's just this is boring.
Yeah, all I see is like, playing up tropes in harem anime and not being funny.
It's like one of those... Not trendsetter. It's like the opposite of a trendsetter anime, where it's just like we're trying to ride on the coattails of other shows that do similar things. Yeah, trend follower. It's just trying to do the things that other shows did well, so it can be like, hey, we're like that too. It reminds me of like when we had that big ass moe boom in the late 2000s, early 2010s, where you just had all these really shit moe shows that were trying to ride off the coattails of like Lucky Star and K-On! And that. It's the same sort of thing. It's just not good.
I will say I'm not entirely opposed to the premise of this. Like, the idea that somebody who has no idea what a boy would want in a relationship, just going straight to the kinkiest sex ever, is a really interesting idea if they actually made this person a character and had her have an arc where she that's
called B gotta HK. It was pretty all right.
Yeah. Oh, is that Yamada's first time?
Yeah, okay, Yamada's
I've seen
first
the first
time.
episode of that, and yeah, it was good.
That is like this premise done well. Basically, like the whole I want to be the biggest slut and sleep with 1,000 guys before I graduate, but I got to make my first time special. That like that's at least a plot, you know? This is just a setup for a bunch of very tired gags.
Yeah.
There were 2 times in the whole first episode that I laughed.
Hardly even call it a laugh. It was like a you acknowledged that there was like a joke.
I acknowledged that there was a joke that could have worked in something else.
There was an attempt made at humor.
The first one was the like childhood friend older sister character who was like making suggestive comments about like playful childhood stuff that they did in order to confuse his girlfriend and tease him, which was like, hey, that's okay. And then the second one was when he goes to the stockroom of the gym and he's like, is she gonna be lying there waiting for me? No, that couldn't possibly happen. And then instead of de-escalating, he walks in and she's wearing like 3 different clashing pieces of bondage gear. And it's like, yeah.
I think I dropped it before then.
Good times.
Damn.
You dropped it before the end of episode 1. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I dropped it before the beginning of episode 1.
I also don't blame you.
Yeah, don't blame you at all for that.
In fact, you're arguably the smartest one of the group for that.
Yeah. All right, so after this, we've got a few returning shows we're not going to be talking about. And the next new series is an adaptation of a visual novel. Code Realize Sousei no Himegimi.
See, we graduated to full colons in the titles of our visual novels.
Yeah, 3 or 2 colons. Yeah, it's a lot of colons.
Man, Steinsgate's behind the times.
Yeah. But
it'll make a return now.
First
0 will come out eventually.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Yazzie, can you read the synopsis for us?
I'd rather not.
Oh my god.
It's an otome adaptation.
That's all you need to know is it's an otome adaptation. Carry on.
Restricted to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of London in fulfillment of a promise to her father, lonely Cardia lives day to day isolated from the world. Her body carries a deadly poison that rots or melts anything her skin touches, prompting the locals to call her a monster. One day, her quiet solitude is interrupted as the royal gods break in to capture her. It is then that Kada fucking Lupin. I'm done. I'm sorry.
So we ended up watching 2 episodes of this. We were only gonna watch 1, but at the end of the first episode, they show a preview for the next, and right away Jeff was like, "That's Van Helsing." So we had to watch the second episode just to find out if he could call which character was which based off of their outfits.
And now
that's how predictable the series is.
It was Van Frankenstein, Lupin, Saint Germain, Van Helsing, Sherlock Sholmes. The fuck?
Yeah. No, they have to do Sherlock Sholmes because
that's actually still
the Conan Doyle estate is like.
Yeah,
they're Nazis.
Active and crazy.
They're actual Nazis, which would be a good transition to the next thing, but we're not there yet.
But basically, this is the best otome anime I've ever watched, which is not saying much. They're never good, ever.
Yeah, this is...
And, I mean, it's not bad. They seem to be pursuing only one route and, like, giving you a taste of the other characters.
I have a feeling that this is going to be, like...
Game.
This is going to be one of those things, like, the same problems I have with, like, Rage of Bahamut. Where it's like, hey, let's pull all of these characters from other things or, like, archetypes, and we're going to throw it in our big fantasy story, and it'll be great, right? No.
Yeah.
This is...
No.
So this is like the one of the few visual novels that are actually out in English that you can go out and purchase. So I would just recommend everyone to skip the anime.
Yeah.
And spend $20 and just play it.
I will say I kind of like the whole League of Extraordinary Gentlemen thing of bringing in a bunch of public domain characters.
I'd rather watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is a horrible movie.
It is a horrible movie.
I can't believe you just said that. That's my favorite horrible movie.
I will I predicted. I didn't know who was in the cast.
Yeah.
And we watched the preview for the first episode, and I saw a guy with like a trench coat, a cross on his coat, glasses, and shotguns, and I was like, "That's Victor Von Helsing."
And we had to watch the whole second episode just to find out, and we did.
And it was him.
Yeah, just so you all know, it was him.
And I was like it's got that problem of otome adaptations where all of the characters are really over designed. Like they're all trying way too hard to look unique for their high school or like their grade school Halloween costume contest. But the decor in this series is extremely cheesy. Yeah, they just throw gears into things. Even so, I like steampunk, and
but there was just like a bridge with some gears on it.
There's just a random giant gear in the middle of London that doesn't appear to do anything, but was just there behind the building.
If I want to watch steampunk, I'd go back and finish watching Princess Principal from last season.
Yes,
watch
that's
any of the actually good steampunk series.
That's a much better call. Yes, I like this has the bare minimum for if you're really, really looking for like a romance story, assuming that they don't go the harem route, because it seems like they're aiming more towards a single romance, like Yazzie said before. So if you're really, 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 really stretched for a good fantasy romance,
watch a let's play of it.
Yeah, watch a let's play of the game, or maybe watch this one. It might be enjoyable. But it's just these predictable characters as otome archetypes bouncing off each other.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of a contradictory opinion. I thought it was fine. It's nothing special, but I enjoyed watching it.
That's how I felt too.
But will you come back for more?
Yeah, I'll probably give it 3 episodes.
Oh dang.
Yeah. I mean, we've given it 2. We'll probably give it 3 as well.
But also around that point is when you start to choose a route to take, which is when otome anime starts falling apart because
when like all visual novel shows do that. The only time it works is when Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the only time that it works is like when you have something that the main arc is just like so solid, and even the game itself was designed to basically be like, this is the canon route. It's why the Steins Gate adaptation works so fucking well, because there were multiple routes and everything, but those endings were just kind of side endings. The main one is the one you want, and that's why it was great to adapt. Mm-hmm. But like most visual novels, if you have all these different routes, you can't fucking do it unless you're ufotable and be like, we're gonna fucking do everything except the Fate route, because nobody liked the Fate route and it was already done sort of anyway. So
and like it's even worse with otome games, because I feel like regular visual novels don't spend as much time developing their characters because you're more there for the visuals of the novel, and otome games are more for the novel half of the visual novel, which makes it like they can't even like wedge in any information because it just doesn't make sense. Stares at the Norn 9 anime that was absolutely terrible.
I will say one thing for this, that as like a josei romance premise, the idea of a girl being surrounded by hot guys who can't touch her is like erotica gold. This is like a gold mine for the kind of ladies who like 50 Shades of Grey and that type of thing.
So what are you saying about the people in this who enjoyed the show?
Including yourself, Jeff. I'd like to point out.
Pardon?
Including yourself, Jeff.
I enjoyed it a little bit, and you know what? I would probably enjoy the occasional trashy dollar store Harlequin romance, which is what this really is. It's just that animated up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
But moving on to a pretty awful show. Dies Irae, or Irae.
Awful show.
Irae. I'm bad enough at Japanese. Don't expect me to pronounce
Berlin.
German.
The Red Army raises the Soviet flag, and a group of Nazi officers conduct a ritual using the slaughter in the city to bring back the LDO, Supermen who would bring the world to its destruction. If we bash this, are we going to be told off saying they're trying to be political because fuck Nazis? Honest question.
Yeah, no.
I don't care.
So at the first, so there's an episode 0 of this.
Oh my god.
Where the main character's a Nazi, and I just started thinking, oh man, do they really expect us to sympathize with a Nazi? And then flip-flopping to, yeah, there are people who are probably into that in the audience right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I don't think they realize that the crossover of people who are going to be all there for the sympathizing with Nazis and people who watch anime.
Like, if you want to make a show about a sympathetic Nazi, you just can't call them a Nazi or do anything like that. That's what Tanya the Evil did, and fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tanya's a Nazi. She is totally a one-up. She's totally a Nazi. Her country is basically Nazi Germany. They're not called that at all, and there are minor changes to differentiate it between any of the world wars. Like, there are some things in World War I, World War II, but like it's fine. You don't actually say, yeah, this is 1945 Nazi. Wait, this is the Soviet flag. So what is this? Nazi Russia?
So wait,
hold on.
Good question. None of us know.
So here's the
we watched 2 episodes, and after 2 episodes, we had to go to MAL and read the synopsis to figure out what was
understand
going on.
what was
So
happening.
wait, is this actually Germany or Russia? Because it says the Red Army and the Soviet flag, but then it says Nazis. I'm confused.
So it takes place on the eve of the Soviets marching in to Berlin.
Okay.
So it's the end of World War II, and basically
specific
at the
dates
end
were never my strong suit in this.
Yeah. So at the end of World War II, a bunch of Nazi soldiers conducted a secret ritual to reincarnate a bunch of ancient wizards. And then they disappeared for like 100 years, and then showed up in modern Tokyo, of course, and all of those wizards had been reincarnated as high school students, of course.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah. So that's so the first episode is like
so good,
a bunch of confusing nonsense of Nazis being Nazis, and then the second episode is a bunch of confusing nonsense about a high school student who's afraid of knives but goes to a knife show with his not girlfriend who lives in the apartment complex next door to him and has a hole in her wall leading into his room so that they can just go between each other's rooms
that she has to climb through in a very sexual manner,
and then
the hole is just a little too small and her skirt is just a little too short to cover.
Yeah.
So it's a little all over the place.
It's an edgelordy visual novel anime.
Heavy sigh.
Did you watch it, Bryant?
I watched episode 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, episode 0, I couldn't tell you anything about it. I remember that there were lights and a kind of like dark metropolitan city, and that I think there were wizards, like some kind of magic. But no, nope, it's all out of my head.
Yeah, so like the main character of the anime portion of it is the reincarnation of a guy who got his head cut off with a guillotine, which is why he's scared of knives. But then the whole Nazi thing, like the first episode, or the episode 0, is so rushed that it's impossible to track what's going on. And some of the like when they transform into their wizard versions, they literally just do like a cross-cut fade instead of like, you know, drawing them transforming or even having a light flash on the screen. So it's really confusing as to whether they're just cutting to another scene with that wizard in it or what. Like, it does, I don't know, it doesn't make sense.
Wizard did it.
A wizard did it. Yeah, it's
a thing.
It exists. It's bad. It's another bad visual novel adaptation, basically. And next we're moving on to a show that I thought would be terrible because it's from Howliner's Animation League. I don't think any of us watched Dynamic Chord.
I watched the first episode of Dynamic Chord, or at least
you did? Okay, well, tell us about Dynamic Chord, because I have...
It's a generic show about a band. They have all the boy band tropes. That's it.
That's it?
I mean, like I said, I dropped it before the end of the first episode. It has a 4.5 on Mal.
Are you sure you didn't watch Tsukipro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Because that sounds like a description of Tsukipro.
That's all of the male musical anime.
Yep. Yeah. It's a band full of men. They do music. The first episode has them recording a commercial.
Yeah, it's like Utapri and did it, so everyone wants to do it, and then King of Prism kind of did it, so now everyone has to do it. And there's actually an alarming amount of like boys band anime this year, and it's like, please stop.
If you really like hot boys, watch it.
Beck did it first.
Beck did it well, though.
Yeah. Just go watch Beck. And like, I'll never ever say that any other time. Just go watch Beck.
Beck also had a hotter anime girl than most anime girls, so that's something.
All right. So that's Dynamic Chord.
Yeah, Dynamic Chord is a show that exists. All right, moving on. Evil or Live, or Evil or Live.
Evil or Live.
I'm going to step in right now and say that I'm calling this as anime of the season.
Oh, strong statement, but having seen both episodes, I'm almost inclined to agree.
Yeah, so pretty good.
It's for a Howliner show that starts really so it starts on
for
some,
a Howliner show that's not Blood of Oars or Sensar no Naomi.
Both of which were kind of terrible too.
I know, that's why they were the best things that I'm finding on the list of shit they've done. So this is saying a lot.
And this has a low score because people have bad taste.
People can't appreciate a high quality titty grab.
So have you watched both of the episodes that are out so far?
No,
Ryan?
I've watched the first one.
Yeah, can you explain the premise for us?
Yeah, sure. There's a Camp Green Lake for internet addiction.
That's
so kids are determined to be addicted to games. They're sent to this torture camp for quote unquote reform. The main character, should I say like what plot goes on?
Say whatever you want.
Sure.
Yeah, just tell us.
We're not late enough in the season where really anything you can say.
Where he wants to kill himself to get out of the camp. He's standing on the roof, and we're introduced to this purple-haired dude who's like, "Hey, instead of killing yourself, why don't you give your life to me, and I'll make you a real man?" And he grabs his tit and says, "Oh, you're a girl." And the
So
and the purple-haired dude's like turns into chibi animation for a second and stomps on his head. It's like, "No, Baka," but yeah, it's actually really, really good.
So in the second episode, what happens is that the guy's like, "All right, I'm gonna make a man out of you," and he's like, "Whoa, I'm not into that." And he's like, "No, stupid." Gives him binoculars. Look at the girls in that field. Tell me which one of them you want, and you can have them today. That's
so. Of course, he sees his childhood friend in that mix.
Yeah,
of course. And he's like, and purple-haired dude's like, good taste. So he tells the class disciplinary committee that that this one random girl has a cell phone, which gets them to tear all of her clothes off looking for it. This show wants really badly to be prison school.
Oh, boy.
And
that was a show I couldn't stand, honestly. But that's me.
And so that happens, and then he and the childhood friend who happens to be the student council president somehow they get out of this with a box cutter. They threaten the bullies with a box cutter, and that solves that. And then they go to this back room, and purple-haired guy's like, "Yo, if one of you wants this cell phone, you're gonna have to screw my boy."
The student council president eventually says, "Okay, I'll do it."
Yeah, but it leads up to the greatest scene in the history of anime, which is main character San touches a boob for the first time and has a 2001 A Space Odyssey transformative experience where he sees all of time at once,
including dinosaurs,
and understands everything. And that's not an exaggeration. That's the montage that they do in the show.
And then right afterwards, student council president best friend who just got her titty grab pukes in his mouth.
And then they both puke.
So it's a strange show.
Bad?
I don't know. I can't decide because weird purple-haired boy who is also conveniently the only guy there with purple or unnaturally colored hair.
Yeah.
Who like is like he's turning this into the most yaoi series I've watched in a couple years.
That has sex with girls in it.
Yeah, like he's the weirdest dude, and he tells his friend he gives his friend. Before going to the student council president, he's like, here, catch, and throws him a condom and is like, bring it back as proof. And it's like, what the fuck am I watching? And then the titty grab scene happens, and it's just weird.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
See, like, I was about to say that this show reminded me a lot of Classroom of the Elite, because that, like, the visuals are pretty nice, the general premise is cool.
So they dropped those cool visuals in episode 2.
Yeah, the weird like edited live action bits, which are really cool.
Yeah, that was like what got me into the series was those really fucking cool live action cuts.
The low budget shaft effect.
Yeah.
They kind of dropped that. They might bring it back, but the second episode has the greatest scene in all of anime, so it kind of makes up for it.
Makes up for it.
But yeah, I was looking forward to a fixed Classroom of the Elite, but maybe now I'm looking forward to it for different reasons. Maybe it'll be hilarious.
Basically, we'll be there for episode 3. We still don't have an opinion on it, though.
Yeah, it's
so good and so bad.
It's everything that Howliners does right and wrong turned up to like the ultimate extreme. Except that it's like paced like a real story, so that's weird for them.
But also, we found out that those things are real.
Oh, the internet addiction
camps.
Yeah. I mean, they're not like as serious as this.
No, but it's anime.
But internet addiction is like a real problem in China, which is the main audience for this.
Yeah, which is interesting. I don't know. It's real.
So yeah, Evil or Live, recommend it tentatively, based on it might be entertaining.
Might be good. Might be shit.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Moving on. So Garo Vanishing Line is technically a new series because it's like a new iteration of Garo, which is like good. Anime Kamen Rider, and it's a good action series. I'm not going to talk about it extensively because it's kind of a sequel and kind of not, but I will say that if you're looking for a jumping on point to the Garo franchise, which this was for us, it's real strong. It's like really entertaining action, and it's well put together, and it's a fun time. I know we're not talking about sequels, but how can we not at least mention that Himouto Umaru-chan R is a continuation of the greatest anime of our time.
I'm sorry, but it's on Anime Strike, so...
Yeah, it's on Anime Strike, so
no one will ever watch it.
Yeah, there's a lot of sequels that have gone to Anime Strike. And Houseki no Reitetsu's got a sequel too, so that's neat. But now we're moving on to the first, or to another Amazon exclusive show that is, again, thankfully terrible, so you don't have to get Amazon. Although that might change in a few entries.
I was hopeful for this show before it started.
Yeah.
Land of the Lustrous. Do you want to tell us about it, Tristan?
So, I'm going to tell you why I was happy about it. Because the show's not really worth trying to describe it because it's not that great. But I was like kind of hopeful for it because it was a 3D anime, and we have yet, or at least I haven't, seen a 3D anime that I've been happy with because we keep on seeing 3D animes that aren't like that great. But the PV was slightly good. The PV seemed to have not only like decent action animation to it, but also was able to nail down in a couple of cuts the feeling of like the comic moments of anime, the things that you would kind of see out of the not serious moments from like Fullmetal Alchemist and so forth, that kind of shift. And they did it in 3D, and I was like, okay, this might actually be good.
It's not.
It's reinforcing this weird opinion I'm getting anytime I look at an anime chart, and I'm like, if the promotional art has a group of like 5+ people and they're all the same gender, there is like an 80% chance I'm not gonna like this show.
I'd say it's closer to like 95% for me. I can't like I can't think of a show that has been marketed like this that I've liked.
Yeah.
So word on the street is that the manga is actually not bad though, which is weird.
That could entirely be possible.
Yeah, and I'd be really disappointed if I was like a fan of the original series stuff, and this is what I got.
Yeah, so
I'd be so upset.
So the premise of this is basically, what if Steven Universe was made by the team that made Ruby, in terms of like production values.
Oh my
and
god!
Also, they took out everything that makes Steven Universe interesting.
Yes,
or anything that makes Ruby good.
Or anything, yeah. So it's just like the production values.
It's just like these really two great things, but with none of the great things.
Yeah. The production values of a web company and the storytelling of a Steven Universe fan fiction.
Yep.
And it's like there's these 28 living gems who all look identical.
Yeah, so that's my biggest problem with this series. If you were to erase their hair, not their heads, just their hair, you could not tell them apart. They are all the exact same character model over and over.
The same thing happens in South Park.
Yeah, but South Park is...
They don't have bodies to work with.
Yeah.
You know? Like, for that's for the kids. But, like, in this, like, they are actually the same model over and over. There's nobody who has a different shape of eye or a different shape of nose or even, like, a slightly, like, different body shape. There's no one even shorter or taller.
Yeah.
They're all the exact same with different hair.
Yeah, they're immortal and genderless, apparently. But it's like they're obviously all supposed to be cute girls.
Yeah.
It's just, there's one part of the first episode I liked, which was when the like god characters came down from the sky and started attacking them, because that was like a really nice visual, that like host of angels coming out with lasers and shit going down. But everything else was like the same 3 static, boring Unity asset store environments, and
it did not live up to the PV.
No,
like the PV had me like, oh, this could be pretty good, and yeah. Oh well, can't be right all the time.
It's like another mark against CG anime.
We don't need more of those. Berserk ruined it. That was good. That was it. That was the nail. We need more of not that.
Yeah. I mean, the few people who've watched this on MAL have given it above a 7, which means maybe there's something some people would like in this. Maybe people might like the character writing if you really dive past everything else, but I was just too bored to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about CG would be a great transition if there wasn't the other anime of the season between this and the next high-profile entry. A Little Sister Is All You Need. It's a show about
such a good title, man. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the logical extent of the evolution that we began. It began with Oremo. Oremo started with a little sister who's a siscon, and then we got to Eromanga Sensei, which is a light novel writer who has a little sister, and they work together on light novels. And then this final evolution is a siscon light novel writer who doesn't have a little sister.
I don't think this is its final form.
There will never be a final form.
There will never be a final form.
But yeah, this is... what'd you guys think of it, first off?
I thought the opening
I'd rather watch your manga sensei.
The opening was clever enough, even if it wasn't really well done. But like the absurd lengths to which the guy went were what kind of sold it. Like talking about his sister's eggs and milk for breakfast, like pulling her panties out of another dimension for him to wipe his mouth with.
He's just like, I just thought that, in a universe where everybody has psychic powers and morals are kind of loose, all of my fetishes would just magically happen.
I think the thing that was kind of like really weird for me is that because we're watching it in Japanese, he's the same voice as Subaru Natsuki from Re:Zero, and that is just kind of really weird for me because I hear Subaru the entire episode that I watched.
Yeah, it's yeah, that is a little distracting. Now that you've said it, it's going to ruin it forever for me.
That's what ruins it forever.
I don't think it was a particularly bad series, though. I think I remember, like, it's been a while since we've watched it. It was one of the first things we watched. But I think I remember it getting kind of emotional. It was weird.
So the first episode is like 80% really bad gags and just like stretching out this joke of light novel writers talking about writing light novels, which is the most masturbatory kind of story that a light novel writer can write. But the end of the episode, it's revealed that this girl who's constantly coming on to him was actually like a teenager who was inspired to write her own light novels because of his stuff, and she's in love with him because of that. And he is like open to the idea of dating her, but he's pushing her away because her stuff is so much better than his, and he's like he can't ever hope to live up to that, so it's kind of painful for him to be around her because his stuff's just trashy sitcom stuff, or that's how he sees it.
Again, I'd rather watch your manga sensei.
Yeah, I mean, this has like an element of how does art emotionally speak to people, but it's buried in bad jokes.
It's buried in like really over sexualized jokes, like they crank it up to 100 in this.
Yeah,
like that white-haired girl is something else.
Yeah, I mean, but she's also the emotional core of the story. So
that's what's weird.
Yeah,
it's like I almost can't get attached to her because some of the shit she says is so unrealistically like shock value.
And I mean, it does add one other 2017 evolution to the siscon light novel anime about light novel siscon stuff formula, which is that the main character has a little brother who is a very cute trap, and that is obviously a big trending force in 2017 anime. But like that's, it's all just pandering, really. And like, yeah.
That's about it. That's pandering the series.
Yep. Pandering the series. Next is a show that's actually pretty decent. Although it's only on Viz Media's website, so I don't know if anybody else got around to watching it. I didn't watch it, no.
Okay, Infini-T Force, which is basically a crossover series with a bunch of Tatsunoko production heroes. You've got the main characters of Gatchaman, Tekkaman, Hurricane Polymar, and Casshern.
So it's basically Tatsunoko versus Capcom, but without the Capcom.
Without the Capcom, yeah, they all come together in the real world. It's like Kingdom Hearts meets Tatsunoko. So they're all drawn into the real world after their own worlds are apparently destroyed. And there's this like semi-suicidal girl with a magic pencil, who everybody's trying to get her magic pencil.
Okay, yeah. No, I remember watching the PV for this and thinking, okay, why is this an anime? Because it looks like I am watching Xbox era cutscenes from a video game that never came out.
It definitely looks like that.
So yeah, it looks like actually, for real, the main girl looks like she was pulled straight out of CG porn. Like, it's so, like...
That's almost like an insult to CG porn. I've seen CG porn better than this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I feel like it's just like a PlayStation 2 JRPG, like, but also she's so generic.
She is a very generic character. What I like about it, and what I think old school Tatsunoko fans will probably really enjoy, is that like the personalities of these characters shine through really strongly, and the action animation in this is top tier. Even if the CGI is bad, which it does look like a PS2 era cutscene. It's really, really well animated. The characters are expressive, and the fight scenes are kick ass. Like it starts with the main gotcha man. Sorry, I'm not an old school hardcore Tatsunoko fan. I can't remember his actual, but the main guy from the original gotcha man diving onto an aircraft carrier, blowing up a bunch of helicopters and fighting some robots, and it looks incredible, but only in motion. If you screen cap any like scene from this, it looks like CGI parody porn of Tatsunoko. What'd you think of it, Bryant?
Well, I was never a Tatsunoko fan, so a lot of the references, a lot of the like nostalgia factor and all of that, just I didn't get any of it.
Yeah,
but I agree with you that the animation was really good. For some reason, I liked the main character, even though she's basically like totally generic and unlikable. But
her thing of like making bets with herself every time she drives through the Shinjuku intersection of, if I survive this, I'm buying myself an eraser. Is cute, you know? There's like there's details to her, I guess. It's just the main focus is obviously on the T Force. And the other thing that I think it has going for it is it's got a like star-studded cast of voice actors.
Yeah, the voice acting, I didn't watch it, I just heard it because I was in the room, and the voice acting's really good.
Oh, that's not bad.
Kora wants to be a voice actor too.
Perfect timing.
Well, luckily we've got a show with the talking cat this season.
We do have a show with a talking cat.
Also a talking dog and a talking bike, but those are later.
2 talking bikes.
Oh yeah, there's 2 different talking bikes.
Oh god. This is getting very confusing. Oh wait, no, we did get past one of those already.
Yeah.
But Infini-T Force. If you like old Tatsunoko stuff, or you're just like in the mood for action porn, I'd recommend it.
It's worth watching to see if you like it.
If you have access to it.
Yeah.
It's on Viz, so it's free.
But it's just like the extra step.
Yeah.
If you happen upon the Viz website.
Yeah, I mean, while you're going there to watch their back episodes of Hunter x Hunter, that's all they've got on there.
But why do that when you just go and watch it on Crunchyroll?
Yeah, and if you really want to, instead of watching the standard Crunchyroll ads, you want to see an ad for Hive Swap on every single video, because they have a business connection with the people making the Homestuck point-and-click adventure. That's the other thing I took away from watching this. Anyway, let's move on to the next show on the list. One of, I think, the most exciting shows of the season.
An actual contender for anime of the season.
An actual contender
for real.
Yeah,
not a joke.
And unfortunately, an Amazon exclusive, Inuyashiki.
I've heard on good authority that we can love the dog.
All right,
we can love the dog, and it won't.
Sydney, Gig Ex-Girlfriend, has let me know that it is safe to love the dog. Everybody is okay.
That's good.
Survived the first episode. I felt pretty comfortable loving the dog.
Well, what is that based on? Is that based on the original material or something?
I don't know. She just told me it's okay. You can love the dog.
Because
I think she knows the original material.
I would be like, even in the original material, if the dog didn't die, that doesn't mean that they aren't going to change things. I would not put that past
story,
people.
The dog.
I would not put that past
Mappa, who survives.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that. I wouldn't put it past Mappa either. And okay. So the premise of this, in as short a term as possible, is what if Walter White became an alien cyborg and fought crime? There's this old dude whose whole family just kind of hates him. He's 58, but he looks like he's 70. His daughter's embarrassed by him. His wife doesn't sleep in the same bed as him. His son does. Nobody cares about him.
They don't answer his calls. It's actually really upsetting.
Yeah,
like I almost wanted to stop watching because of how genuinely upsetting. I felt guilty for every time I've ever
not called your mom
or been wait 5 minutes, mom. I've been I'm sorry.
So he's diagnosed with stomach cancer, which is pretty fucking heavy.
Crap.
And it's you've got 3 weeks to live, dude. And he's like, oh 3 months. Yeah, he's like, you got 3 months. He's like, oh crap. So he's he calls his wife doesn't pick up. He calls his daughter doesn't pick up. He calls his son doesn't pick up. He comes home the next day. They've kicked his dog out of the house and just yell at him about the dog making a mess instead of listening to him. So he can't even get out that he has stomach cancer before he's crushed by an alien spaceship, and because they feel bad, they replace his body with a battle cyborg that they just happen to have.
What a twist!
But it's really fucking good.
It's really good.
It's beautiful too.
No, it's like how you felt about Kato the Right Answer in its first episode. It's just we have this entire story that's happening for the first half of the episode, and that story is great. And then it's replaced with another equally great but completely different story.
Yeah, it feels like a sad Kurosawa movie knockoff at the start of it about this guy just coming to terms with death, and then it's psych, you get to live forever, and also you have a gun in your arm.
And a dog who loves you.
I'm not sure which of those is more important, but the answer is both.
The answer is dog. Doggo is always most important.
Why not just have gun in your dog?
That's true.
Gun dog.
I mean, this guy's got a gun that shoots tapioca. That's the first thing that he did. And it's a really great exploration of how shitty youth in Japan can be, and just I guess lack of respect for the older generation.
Because what did they ever do for us?
Yeah, it might be a series that will pull in a lot of new people.
Yeah,
I think it's the kind of series that people who are iffy about anime, but like the premise of anime, could watch.
It's almost inverse Persona 5 in that it's just one old guy who's absurdly powerful, getting young whippersnappers and snapping them back into shape.
Unlike young whippersnappers versus all adults, because all adults are evil assholes in Persona 5.
Yeah, basically, except for
the maid,
Sojiro.
So it's codename.
Oh yeah, and Sojiro. Well, no, Sojiro is an asshole, but he becomes a lovable asshole. This is difference.
Yeah, no, this is kind of inverse Codename Kids Next Door too. But this is a real good seinen series. The action in it is strong. The punishment for the kids who think it's okay to just beat up on homeless people because they're homeless is, I mean, at the end of the first episode, main character the main character Inuyashiki knocks all of them away from this homeless guy who they're about to kill with baseball bats after they've they think that they've killed him with the baseball bat, except that he's an immortal cyborg. And then he uploads the video of that to YouTube and posts all of their home addresses and stuff from the internet.
He doxes them. He basically doxes the kids who tried to kill him.
Yeah, and just ruins their just ruins their lives. It's a good punishment. And and
also you can sit your friends down and start typing out the name of it and really scare them. Be like, we're gonna watch something really good, and start writing Inuyashiki. And they all start like getting up and being like, I fucking hate you.
No, fuck you.
Not what I...
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't work with the people that I normally hang out about. If I started typing in Inuyashiki, they would be really disappointed when I typed in Shiki at the end and not...
We watched this with, or we tried to watch this with Takahata 101.
Oh my god.
And he was like, no, not Inuyasha, please, no. And then I typed in the last bit. He's like,
he thought we were trolling him, and he was like, get out of my house.
Yeah. But it feels a bit like Parasite.
Yeah.
That like,
oh boy.
But it doesn't seem like it's going to go downhill, and it's got a man with a mission OP. Which is
always good.
Yeah, it's an immediate plus in my book.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys like? What was your guys' favorite part of it?
Anyone?
Brian? What was your favorite part of it,
Share
Brian?
with the class.
Well, no. This is where I have to reveal that I didn't actually do my homework. Like, I have never seen an anime.
Okay.
But no, Inuyashiki, like, honestly, I was a really big fan of the opening part, like where we got this really somber, emotional story of some guy being horribly depressed that he was gonna die and his family didn't love him.
Yeah.
So you're feeling betrayed that they actually got
I'm feeling betrayed in the best possible way. Because I didn't know how they were gonna keep that up for question mark episodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this doesn't have a definitive episode count yet, so it might be a 24 episode series. That'd be real cool. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to a one-person Kids Next Door team made of Terminator.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see Inuyashiki root out systemic injustice and maybe get his family to love him.
Oh, I don't think his family's gonna love him.
It doesn't matter. That's why the dog is there.
Right.
That's literally why they inserted the dog. They were like, just kidding. Someone loves him.
Yeah.
The only person who matters loves him. The dog.
The dog.
Yep.
I'm glad that we're okay to love that dog because School Live ruined me a little bit. Spoilers for School Live, by the way. I'm sorry.
Series with dogs in them.
Yeah, basically any dark series with dog in them.
Or even light series with dogs in them.
Yeah.
Just if there's a dog,
don't trust the dog.
Don't, you know?
Never
except Space Brothers.
Yes,
trust the dog and Space Brothers.
Apo is the best boy. We gotta do a Space Brothers episode together sometime soon, dude. But let's move on to the next series, which I was really excited for because it's from Studio Pine Jam, who also created Gamers, and before that created, basically nothing. They created Mahou Shoujo Nante e Mo I Desukara, which is a very, very silly magical girl parody, but they knocked it out of the park with Gamers last season. Is probably my favorite, one of my 5 favorite shows of the year so far, and just because is their original romance story about this guy who comes back to his old childhood high school for a semester because his dad travels around a lot. So first off, who else saw this?
Me.
It is on my list, but I haven't got to it yet.
That's fair. What did everybody think of it? Yazzie, we'll start with you because I know that you've got opinions that might differ.
I mean, not really. Thinking back, I was in a very bad mood when I watched this, which was probably not a good idea because then I felt really cynical about the lighthearted, cute story. So when I watched it first, I was like, it's kind of boring, it's kind of slow, but now that I'm thinking about it and hearing people talk about it more and rethinking the episode, I'm like, okay, maybe it was kind of cute and it's kind of innocent and nice. That's about it. Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
It was kind of cute, it was kind of innocent and nice, and I was pretty bored by it. Coming on the tails of Gamers, it's just
it's gonna be a slow burn kind of show.
It's not Gamers.
It's gonna be a slow burn, or it's gonna be a show that does not burn at all.
It is. Yeah, it's not. So it's not Gamers. It's not a comedy.
Right.
I really enjoyed the dramatic presentation in this. I really enjoyed a lot of the elements of the direction, the way that music was used in it, and especially the presentation of like text messages.
It's aesthetically
like House of Cards style. Put them on.
It was really easy to follow. That was like my one, like, oh dang, I can actually follow these text message conversations.
It was even better at showing line messages than two seasons ago's line commercial, Suki ga Kirei. I think that's the one that I'm thinking of. But we'll believe it was. I really like it so far.
Light and fun and kind of boring.
It's slow. It's a slice of life drama, so you know what to expect from that. But I was really impressed with how well directed, well acted, well put together it was in general. And I like with this and Gamers, Pine Jam has like come out swinging and shown that they're capable of delivering on two very, very different styles of show very effectively.
Yeah, I definitely don't think this is a bad show.
Same.
No.
It's just not some people's genre. You know, some people just don't like. I like the slow, like boring. I can come back to it, and I'm, I like that. But some people don't like that. Whatever.
Yeah. And it seems like it's my jam as far as anime goes. If you like
Pine Jam,
my Pine Jam,
I'll leave now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You should go. But it does like I don't know. I really like how it's directed a lot. I think that Pine Jam has some of the best camera work in general. From what little we've seen of them so far. Like, Gamers had some moments of really, 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 really incredible motion graphic and camera work combined. Like that scene where oh god, I'm blanking. The cute pink-haired one.
Agiri.
Agiri, where she sees her boyfriend across the street say something slightly suspicious, and it just like rams across the street and hits her in the face through the window. They do a lot of stuff like that in just because they can, and it's some really impressive animation and direction. I like it a lot. This is one of my favorite shows of this season so far. And it's exclusive to Amazon again.
No, I think it's fair that this is one of your favorite shows of the season. I see that there's a lot of good stuff about it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to a show that I think a lot of people are talking about.
Juuni motherfucking Taisen.
Yeah, you wanna take this one up, Tristan?
Okay, so Juuni Taisen is basically Fate Zero, except remove the Fate franchise, which is probably a good thing at this point because it's really unwieldy, and replace the generic RPG classes that get summoned with no summons at all, but have the fighters be representations of the Zodiac. Go.
Yeah. And it's
holy
strong.
Shit.
So this bad thing happened to me where one time I looked at a series and I was like, this looks like it's gonna be really good, and like it was really hyped up, and it was called Roka no Yusha, and it ended up being the worst fucking thing I've ever watched, and I'm still very, very upset about that. So whenever I see a series like this that like on paper sounds really good and the character designs are really good, but like it came out of nowhere, I'm always like, oh no. And I don't trust it. And I will say, we watched the first episode. Did we watch more than one?
We've only seen the first episode so far.
And the first episode was great. It's so far, but like I like instantly go into these scared because of what Roka no Yusha did.
Let's spend an entire episode around this one really badass character, and then possibly kill her at the end of the first episode. We don't know.
We don't.
You'll have to come back.
We don't know yet.
You'll have to come back.
That's the approach that they took with Gare Zero.
But that's the approach they need to take, because you can't have a bloody battle royale if anybody has protagonist immunity. You can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you'll be like, well, it's not a battle royale then. Fucking Saber's gonna win. We know that. They know that.
Yeah. He's got a good point.
Yeah, it's yeah, with Fate, it's kind of set in stone, but with this one, none of the characters are super familiar.
Like, Fate Zero was great, and Fate Zero had a lot of reasons that made it great, but the actual tournament was not one of those things, because you already knew how the fucking thing was gonna end, unless you'd never watched anything Fate, but you could easily look it up. Like, here, you have no clue who's gonna win. Not a clue! You don't know who's gonna be. Maybe nobody's gonna win. Maybe they're all gonna say fuck you to whoever organizes this shit, because we don't know who organizes this shit. We don't know why they organize it. We don't know where the wish comes from. We don't know, like, we know fucking nothing, and I love that. That's kind of the thing here.
Yeah, and God, it's so ridiculous and over the top too. Yeah. Which is what you really need from an action series like this. It doesn't even try to be realistic.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't expecting that, because like, I don't know how to pronounce the studio, like Graphinica? Graphinica. Like, all they did is, like, they did some of the Hellsing Ultimate, but like everybody and their dog worked on Hellsing Ultimate, so that's not something that you can totally label on that. And it did the OVA for Drifters, which is the OVA for Drifters. So like, they haven't done enough for me to say, oh hey, they'll be really cool. Like, maybe the Love Live School Idol movie will be a perfect representation of how this is gonna go. I don't know, but yeah, no,
this is why I said I was scared.
Yeah, because you just don't know, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, within maybe like another 2 or 3 episodes, I'll be like, man, what a waste of potential. But we'll see.
Maybe in another couple episodes, you'll feel the way I do when I see these series, because it'll betray you too. Who knows?
I mean,
I really hope it doesn't.
We were all betrayed by Roka no Yusha, I think. But yeah.
I truly hope this one does well. It's also one that's being pushed a lot, which is good, because it's good so far.
Yeah.
It's one of like the only like actually genuinely good series that I've liked that's being pushed a lot.
Yeah. Crunchyroll is pushing the hell out of this one, and
yeah, so it's Funimation as well, because they're doing a broadcast up for it.
Yeah, and with good reason. Like, if this is on Adult Swim, I have a feeling it's going to get huge.
Yeah.
Like,
assuming it stays good.
Assuming it stays good, yeah. But I also like that it's 12 episodes, which, like, there's 12 episodes and there's 12 characters, which means that they can, like, comfortably get away with, like, a death or 2 per episode.
Yeah.
And not run out of characters by the end, and
yeah, because that's just those characters. That's not saying anything about the other side characters or people running the organization or whoever. I'm actually fully expecting several characters to die in one episode to make way for 1 or 2 of the other characters to not die at their respective episodes. Like, that's how this is going to go, and I like that. I like that a lot.
I think this is arguably the most hyped series of
it's pretty hype
with good reason.
The character designs are so good too.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're so
good. Like the
the
bunny guy. No, he leaves such a strong first impression. Just sitting there in the corner, licking blood off his blade, and he's like, "I didn't kill that guy. What the fuck are you talking about?"
Plus, like, one of the best lines of the season so far. Like, you're a necromancer? No, I'm a necromantist.
and just the follow up with like, oh, I'm sorry, I tricked you. I actually killed that guy. Yeah, I know. Fuck off.
It's like Eric Cartman if he was more psychotic, buff, and like a kind of spacey. Yeah, he had like rabbit ears, and he was kind of like not all there. Because that's kind of what I got him. It was like, I didn't kill that guy. Oh, totally kill that guy. I tricked you off.
It's.
And can we talk about Monkey for a second?
Monkey,
I'm
cheering for Monkey,
to see where her art goes.
And honestly, because I'm cheering for Monkey, I'm expecting her to die really soon.
Everyone is pushing us to cheer for Monkey.
Or turn into a monster.
Or already be a monster that we just haven't seen.
No matter what happens with her, I'm gonna be pretty satisfied, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, they could just drop her. That would be a catastrophe.
Unless they just drop her, yeah. But like, if they kill her straight out, that's going to be great. If they let her get away with
her, if they kill her by dropping her, that'll be acceptable.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
I got one spoiler on Twitter from I think the 3rd episode, for a certain interaction with the dog and his poisons.
Save that spoiler for now. Hold on to it.
I will just say that what happens at the end of that is so, like, it's just so satisfying in such a small way, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. Mm-hmm. I am also looking forward to seeing more of the next series that we're talking about, which is a remake of an absolute classic from back in the day, Kino's Journey.
So I have thoughts.
You have thoughts.
Kino's Journey, the original 2003 series, is on my short list for like the 5 best anime I've ever watched in my life. Probably. Yes. I've never made the list, but if it was there, not surprised. Now, there's only been 2 episodes out so far, and the thing that's bothering me is how they have announced the show is going to go. It is not a traditional, hey, we're just going to be following the manga and adapting everything in order. No, they have come out on record that's like, hey, fans in Japan, tell us what your favorite individual stories are, and we're going to adapt those. This adaptation is a best of. And that bothers me, especially after episode 2. Episode 1 was really good, and I loved it. But episode 2 was Colosseum, which in the 2003 anime had 2 episodes dedicated to it.
Oh, yeah.
And here they cut it down to 1, and you really, really notice that. There's a lot of things, because I rewatched, because I have it sitting on DVD, so as soon as I finished the episode, I was like, I haven't watched it in a while, let's pop that thing in. And like, there's time that Kino spends out in the town, meeting other people, like everything about the decisions that she makes in the new series get a lot more explanation in the old series, because there was just more time dedicated to it. But in just this one episode 2, it really feels like everything that Kino doesn't make sense. But it only makes sense if you know about it, which is what annoys me, because I feel like they're doing that on purpose, being like, oh, well, this is all for the fans anyway, right? They've read it. They know what happens. And I'm like, no.
The to be fair of that is that the original series still exists, and they don't want to step on its toes. Because, like,
then why adapt that one?
If the original...
Because if they have a list of like all of the best stories from Kino's Journey, if they want to be like, hey, this has already been adapted and our adaptation won't make it better, we'll do another story that hasn't been adapted yet.
That would be better. That would be, because I believe that it's been a very long time since I watched Kino's Journey.
Yeah.
I believe that the first episode in the Murder Town is not in the original anime.
No, it is not. That's why I also really liked it. And I think when I compared kind of the list there, I think are 4 episodes out of the 12 that are based on episodes that have been already adapted.
And I think that those are going to end up feeling like the early kind of episodes of Brotherhood compared to
that's basically how I have it, because like in my head, I'm just remembering what I've said previously about the Fall of Parnella arc in Full Metal Alchemist, because in the 2003 version, they had 2 episodes, but in Brotherhood, they cut it down to 1, and you really do notice what they cut out. It's just not there.
Yeah, and it
needs to be there.
It does if you're watching that as like its own thing. Like I think if you consider this as like a thing for the fans who know that all of the light novels are never ever going to be translated to anime unless this is really successful, which is.
But that's the other thing though, is because this is a best of, that means that any other season that they do after this will not have as good stories, because they've already adapted the best ones. It's not like if they decided to go in order and then every season has like 3 or 4 of the really good ones and then some of the pretty good ones. From this point on, we'll just have the pretty good ones.
Yeah, I mean, There's two kind of purposes for this, I think. One of which is like to introduce people who are new to Kino to it in like a more modern setting, and maybe send them back to buy the DVDs or buy the light novels, which I believe just finished.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And the other purpose is to give fans more episodes and maybe a higher production value on
it's definitely higher.
Definitely
by some far. Of the like some of the 3D stuff is kind of but by and large it's really nice and very pretty. It's not as muted as the old series used to be. The old series was like very muted for a show called The Beautiful World.
Yeah, this is definitely a more vibrant and see. When I watched Kino's journey when I was a lot younger, I always compared it in my mind to Jing, King of Bandits, because they're very similar in that they're about exploring like quirky and weird settings with a consistent main pair of characters. Obviously, Kino is probably substantially deeper, but Kino also felt like a lot more drab in its original incarnation, and this feels a little bit closer to a point between them. And I'm realizing that this is an analogy that nobody's gonna get because nobody watched Jing, King of Bandits except for me. But it feels a little bit more lively and fun compared to the more somber tone of the original anime.
I still recommend it. I still recommend it. I still recommend people to watch the original first.
Or second.
No, not second.
No?
It'll be the same thing that I have with Full Metal Alchemist, because if you watch... Because it was a problem I had when I rewatched those 2 Colosseum episodes. There was more story to it, and they helped make the story make more sense, but the drop in production value really feels weird watching them back to back. I'd still watch the old series first.
It's that harsh a drop.
Yeah. Well, it's been what, like
a decade,
14 years.
Yeah. So it makes sense for that that drop to be there. But yeah, what does everybody else think?
Well, like I didn't know this was a remake because everybody knows by now that I don't watch anime. But I was really excited about this series because I just really like these kinds of adventure stories. I had no idea that Kino was a girl.
That's on purpose.
Yeah, I figured. But yeah, I like these kinds of adventure stories. The world seems really interesting. I live in Kentucky, so watching this, I got a lot of really weird, like, gun control argument triggers from like Thanksgiving at my family's.
I have it for protection.
Yeah, no, there were 2 shows this season that were like really pro weapon, and that just kind of like hit me the wrong way. But the show itself is really good, and now I want to go back and watch the original and see what's different. So
you should. It's good.
Yeah, I will say I've never seen the original, and it makes me want to watch the original. But it also makes me want to keep watching this.
Yeah,
so,
do both.
I mean, it wasn't bad. Yeah,
why not both?
It didn't like super stand out to me as like some masterpiece, but like, it was pretty good, and it makes me want to see how good the previous one is. So
I also want to just interject that the music
is
incredible.
Again, production value goes up.
Production value, but is the animation a little janky to anyone else?
Only when the 3D elements are involved, I thought. So basically when Hermes is moving and when Kino is on Hermes, because sometimes there's a 3D Kino that they use, and I don't like the 3D Kino all that much.
I thought the 3D Kino looked about as good as 3D Inuyashiki does in Inuyashiki.
Yeah, but I didn't like 3D in Inuyashiki either, so...
Well, it was better in Inuyashiki because the whole show was like that. It wasn't like this jarring disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say when we were watching the first episode, I noticed an animation error within like the first minute, and I posted about it on Twitter, which is there's a reflection of the sun in the water where the sun is like a tilted disc,
it's just a photoshopped circle.
Yeah, like it's a photoshopped circle, and like the reflection has just been tilted sideways, if that makes sense. It looks like the reflection is a TV screen reflection that you're looking at side on, instead of what it would actually look like, which is just a reflection. It's
weird.
Yeah. So there are small animation errors and a little bit of jank overall with this.
Probably fixed for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, but like the HD quality bump especially is something that's hard to compare to. Moving on to another series from the same studio, Lerche, or Lerchi, I don't know, Lychee Failing Productions. We're going to talk about Konohana Kitan, or Lesbian Fox Girls Run a Hotel.
Are we going to talk about it? Do we have to?
I'm with Brian here.
You just want to skip over this one?
I mean, we can say there's nothing special about it.
It's Hanasaku Iroha.
Yeah, if I wanted to watch an inn being run by people, I'd just watch Hanasaku Iroha. I don't need Fox Girls, because that's been like, hey, let's do this, but with Fox Girls, and I'm like, no.
I mean, the only thing that I will say that this really has going for it over those other ones, other than the Fox Girl thing, which if you're into that, great, is that it's like an explicit Yuri show.
Yeah.
So they're like setting up relationships where the main character's like, oh, this girl's so cute, oh, this senpai's so mature, and they're blushing at each other, and it's got shoujo ai in the tag, which makes me hopeful that some kind of action may happen in the future.
There might be some sensual head patting.
Yeah.
Or maybe some shoulder rubs.
And it's got a little bit of that like story of the week structure to it, where like a new character shows up at the hot spring and they've got their own self-contained story that might prove to be kind of fun, because like the first episode had this pharmacist who was just the nice guy, but it's
skippable. It's very skippable.
It's very skippable.
Speaking of skipping,
let's move to the next one.
Yeah, we'll move to the next one.
Another contender for anime of the season for me?
I would say so too, which is a shame because it's not airing this season. Children of the Whales. Yeah. I mean, it is airing this season in Japan, but Netflix got it. So
yeah.
Thank you, Netflix. We love you. You're the greatest.
I was talking about Kupao Yingxiong.
Oh, Kupao Yingxiong. Yeah.
What is it? The Cool Running World anime.
I hope you were actually talking about
Children of the Whales.
Yeah. Children of the Whales is oh god, I don't want to make that Miyazaki movie comparison that it like begs for. Right. Because it's like begging for that, but this is one of the most beautiful anime that I've like ever laid eyes on, with the sort of sketchy background art and everything. The setting is really cool and unique. It's about,
it has a lot of the same appeals as Made in Abyss. Like it has this really cool and unique world that we don't know much about. Like it doesn't have the same sense of danger as Made in Abyss, but it has that same like adventure, mystery, like excitable protagonist.
It's going to be more like Sand Pirates than anything else, but like the idea of this island called the Mud Whale moving through an endless sea of sand, and some people on it can use magic, but they die early, so the people who can't use magic become the leaders of society by virtue of their longevity. And like all of the weird traditions that they have, like starting during a funeral is a really interesting and cool way to kick off a story. And it like they go deep into the characters, the characters like emotional connection to what's happening, and their traditions. Like they're not supposed to cry during funerals because otherwise the spirits of the damned will suck them beneath the waves of the sand,
and then immediately someone does.
Yeah, and the main character cries because he's like really bad at following those traditions, which is also like a early sign that maybe some of the superstitions that are in there are not like necessarily what they say they are. That maybe this ruling class of non-magical people is hiding things from the children on this island. So it's got a little bit of like a Peter Pan vibe going to it. It's got a little bit of a it's so good. It's so good. Sorry. I've been gushing about it, and I want to give everybody else a chance to talk. But yeah, Bryant?
No, this is just one that I really liked. It hit a lot of the things that I really enjoy finding in media. So, I don't know, just going into this one, looking at the key art, I was expecting some kind of stupid magical girl show. And it's the exact opposite of that. Well, not the exact opposite. I guess like Made in Abyss is the exact opposite of that. But, no, it's like a slightly more lighthearted Made in Abyss. Right down to the art style.
It's also maybe a little bit comparable to what was it? From the New World, Shinseki Yori.
I've seen one episode of that, and yeah,
you need to watch more of that.
Yeah,
that's a good show.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Have to make those Hero Aka videos first.
Yep.
Yeah, that's business. That's the anime business. Yep. I want to watch other anime, but Hero Aka exists. But yeah, no, I was like just enraptured with this from episode 1, and I am excited to binge watch the whole thing when it comes to Netflix in 3 months.
3 months? Talk about next year.
Or 6 months, or a year, or whenever they finally do it.
A year and a half.
Something like
or more. God, I just wish that they'd like make a deal with Crunchyroll or something to share their series for simulcast or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to something that we can actually watch this season. It's crazy, right? Mahoutsukai no Yome.
So you say that, which is Ancient Magus Bride. Sorry, you say that. Hey, we can watch this. I haven't yet, and that's because out of everything from this season, I know this is the one that I will love the absolute most because I've watched the OVA and it is fucking amazing, but I don't want to watch it yet because I know exactly what's going to happen. Every time the episode finishes, I'm going to get so pissed off that the episode's over and I have to wait another freaking week. Well, so let me tell you how I'm standing back for a moment.
I'm in basically the same position, which is kind of awkward. So, Jeff, if you want to gush about this for 10 minutes, go ahead.
Well, let me just tell for 10 minutes. Let me just tell you how you can ameliorate that problem that you're having. First off, which is that the manga is being published pretty much simultaneously with when it comes out in Japan on global.bookwalker.jp. And if
why am I not surprised? I shouldn't be surprised, but I am.
But the manga is also
and if
really
Bookwalker
good.
Isn't to your taste, you can also watch the show on Crunchyroll by going to crunchyroll.com/basement.
And I'm sure that you guys can find some nice posters of this on Displit if you look at that. I have a promo code soon.
Like this is how much I don't like. This is how much I know that you shill much more than me. I used your shill code and not my own, despite having my very own Crunchyroll shill code.
That's true. He did just.
I appreciate you going in for the basement code. But
this show is like the shoujo series I didn't know I needed, even though it's not a shoujo series.
So good.
It's just like it's so good. I did not think I would like it. I don't like fantasy. I don't like especially hardcore fantasy. I fucking can't stand. I'm sorry, but so like the like all the promo stuff really turned me off. I didn't watch the OVA, and then I watched the first episode and I was like, oh no, I love him. Basically.
Yeah, so like the romance in this is one of the strongest romances.
So good.
And it's what's great about it is it's a shoujo. It's billed as a shonen manga, but it's like
It's literally something for everyone.
It's something for everyone. I think girls will really get into the emotional love story in it, and also it's not like a physical attraction to the main guy, because most of the time he has a literal cow skull for a head.
Yeah, like it's actual story building that makes you like him.
He's such a great likable character, but you also get like a sense of danger around him. What I really like about this show and about the writer, who I need to quickly look up her name.
I think Jeff might like him more than I like him.
Yamazaki.
Yeah, Hore Yamazaki. Kore Yamazaki, what I like about her writing in general is that she's really good at like walking that line between magic is dangerous and mysterious and uncontrollable, and magic is wonderful and cool and magical.
Yeah, like in the OVA, everything revolving around that library. It's like you are introduced to the library and it's like, hey, Harry Potter, and then the lights go out and you're like, oh.
Yes, they have such a good balance of like action and romance and mystery. Like as soon as you start to get sick of, even in the OVA, I did watch a bit of the first one, and in it even like you start to get a little not bored, but you could potentially get bored of like the quote unquote romance at the beginning.
The show doesn't repeat anything from the OVA though, right?
No, the OVA is a side story prequel.
Yeah.
Okay, so, just making sure.
But like, there's just like as soon as you start to get sick of one thing, they're already moving on to the next one at the perfect time. Like right when I start to think that, like that the kind of scary stuff or the or the magic is starting to get kind of like, right then they're starting to switch to another thing, and it's so well balanced.
And they do everything so well too. Yeah. Like Unlike Yazzie, I am a huge fantasy nerd. I love it when people go into depth about how magic works, and this is very much like a pagan. A lot of research went into real world witchcraft and mythology and fairy tales from around the world,
like it should.
And like a lot of effort went into figuring out how those things could be combined. So like there's this whole explanation about how magic is about borrowing power from spirits, and the reason that she's going to be such a good magus one day is because she can communicate with spirits and they're drawn to her as like a queen bee. And there's like real rituals that go into a lot of the stuff they do. They don't just like wave their hands and a spell happens. They have to like gather magical materials. The first episode, the ancient mages, Elias, I was blanking on his name for a sec. Elias is like, here, take this stone. There was a hole worn through the center of it on a riverbed, so it'll protect you. And that's like old school real witchcraft type stuff.
That's like something you don't see in anime except for those brief mentions of magic in like a Miyazaki film.
Yeah, but it's also like not too much. Like it somehow managed to keep you happy, and you fucking love fantasy, and it keeps me happy, and I tune out as soon as things get too
magic technical.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, bye. Like, and it still keeps me interested through the whole thing. And
I have been reading the manga. It just keeps getting better and better. I would like. This is one of those cases like with Prison School before it, where I know that as soon as I watch the next as soon as I go through the 3 episodes of it that are out right now, I'm going to just binge read the manga because it's so good. And the great thing about that is that reading the manga doesn't take away from watching the anime or vice versa. They've both got their own strengths. Yamazaki is really good at like panel flow and really, really good at just creating awesome static art. But then you hand the reins of that over to Wit Studio, who apparently can do things other than edgy teenagers fighting monsters. Surprise, surprise. And it's just gorgeous. It's like it's like Miyazaki Howl's Moving Castle breathtaking at times.
That's another thing that,
but better.
While the magic stuff is going on, and I'm like semi-listening, but also like I don't care. The visuals are enough to keep me still engaged in listening.
And I mean the music too. We've talked a lot about music this season. But like,
it's a good season for music.
Yeah,
it really, really is.
The last few seasons sucked because they were all so busy working on this.
Maybe. I mean,
I want to believe. Okay.
I mean, if
the OVA's been like coming out slowly over the past year, like that's the shit I've been dealing with. I watched the OVA every episode that it came out, and fucking got pissed off every time, being like, my God, now I have to wait until I don't even know when because it's an OVA. God damn it.
If Wit Studio seriously like was just focusing on that OVA and this season and just kind of was like, we can drop the ball on
Titan
Attack
season
on
2
Titan a bit, nobody will care, they'll still watch it, and that was a good call.
That was a very good call,
because this is just incredible. It's a very, very high chance of being anime of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely like a must watch.
No, it has a chance of being anime of the year.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's got a top recreators for that, which is a tough hurdle to get over, even if nobody else. Well,
on the plus side, it's not on Anime Strike, so it's got that going for it.
Yeah, it's exclusive to Crunchyroll, and the OVAs are on Crunchyroll, which is rare. We don't always get the OVAs on streaming services, but like the other thing about this is the music is from the sound director who handled Log Horizon and Hozuki no Reitetsu and Aka, so like that.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah, that makes sense that it would be as good as it is. And Super Lovers.
Silence falls upon everybody.
Yeah, you guys didn't see it, but Yazzie her eyes shot up from her phone as she was like, I'm back in this conversation.
Can we not? Please don't out me for that.
And now we're gonna move on to a show that I think actually justifies web manga adaptations.
That's an interesting claim.
Like all of our favorite, all of my favorite shows of the season are sort of clumped together in this little block right now. The next thing that we're going to talk about is another romance anime set in a fantasy world, kind of. Net-juu no Susume, or Recovery of an MMO Junkie.
I was really pleasantly surprised by this one.
Same. I went into it being like Jeff was like, okay, can we just watch this? And I was like, I wanted to go to bed.
But it's an anime and it has MMO in it. That's not a good sign.
True.
Exactly. That's why I didn't want to watch it. And like, it looks kind of generic, but I am. This is probably one of my most invested series.
This is.
Right now.
So this is like, what if Sword Art Online was written by a josei writer, aka a good writer?
Shots fired.
It's not really a shot, it's an annihilation because it's so true.
Yeah.
But so like the reason I think that Yazzie and I liked it specifically is because we have we had a long distance online relationship that came together in the real world, so we can relate to that idea, which is what this is about. This is about this woman who is she's a salary woman, and then she
quits her job.
She gets depressed and quits her job to just play online games all the time because she hates life. How relatable is that?
Yeah, she's in her 30s. That's the problem. Is she's a 30-year-old like single kind of life failure, she feels like,
and she's having a midlife crisis, so she just starts playing online games all the time
like she used to,
and she plays this really hot guy character.
Yeah, that's the best part, is that she plays like a cool male character purely accidentally.
I mean, so she creates a character, she names him Hayashi, I think.
Hayashi, which is like, that's also a mistake. She couldn't think of a name. Hayashi is like John. Yeah, like naming her MMO character John. Like, yeah, exactly. It's just so plain, and she's like, it's cute because she wants to quit because she did something so stupid. But
she plays a little bit, and then in the game, Hayashi meets this real cute pink-haired healer girl from this guild, and she joins up with the guild and becomes really, really close with this healer girl.
And all of them, and they all meet up after work, and they all say we're meeting up, like, oh, we're all, you know?
Yeah. they kind of know each other. They're in the same vicinity, and then at the same time, she begins crossing paths with this really hot, like 25-year-old business guy, who's just really nice and helpful. And something starts sparking there. But what she doesn't realize is that he's actually playing the cute pink-haired girl in the MMO.
Mm-hmm.
So they're playing their opposite genders in the MMO.
And it's so cute.
It's just like a cute, pure, happy series about like a sad person who ends up meeting people. And it's like there's also a fun mystery to it because they obviously show you who the characters are and who the humans are. So we're having a real fun time being like, I think he's that guy. Or,
in the online
there's a
game.
small cast. Yeah, they haven't revealed yet who's who. And it's just like a fun...
We're really enjoying it. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, what's really interesting to me about this is how both of them think they're romancing somebody of the same gender as them. So
yeah, you're right. We never even considered that.
It's because, like, the woman at least is definitely into other women.
Yeah.
So both of them... I've taken this to mean that they are both gay in a straight relationship... not realizing that the other person is also gay, but the wrong gender. So there's this really weird dynamic that I hope they're going to get into, but they probably won't.
Yeah, because that's something that's like just tied into it's similar to the whole will they won't they sort of thing. In this case, it's not a will they won't they get together. They'll probably get together, but like at what point will they or won't they find out?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like it's coming soon. I don't know. I really like the characters in this, and I think that this is a better exploration of that idea that is the only really emotionally resonant thing in Sword Art Online. That idea that your real life and your virtual life really matter just as much as each other, and that the friends you make online are real friends who are important and can serve roles as emotional support. And instead of like taking that premise and then using it as the window dressing on a shitty action series, it's they focus in on this romance and also
her turning back into like a regular
and it's
functioning member of society too.
I also like that it's not set in fucking high school.
Yeah, that's also nice, is that everybody is like over the age of at least 25.
Because I heard
there's a couple one of the girls mentions being in college, but like even then, that's still better than high school.
And like I heard there's never a girl online, which is awkward translation of a few seasons ago's Neto Gay anime. The one where Digibro famously went on a rant about the main girl and how much he wants to bang her. But that show is just like using this premise as a setup for standard harem high school shenanigans, and I like that they're keeping them separate for a long period of time and keeping that tension until they actually meet.
But it's still early on.
Yeah. It feels a bit like a J-drama almost.
Yeah, but it's around the same level of like emotional investment required, where it's like, yeah, it's nice, it's not going to ruin your day, but also it can really drag you in for a day.
Yeah. And on that note, we're moving on to a show that has really sucked in, I think, the whole anime community, which is Neo Yokio. The greatest anime of this season by far.
I'm dipping out of this conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to join you. I haven't watched it. I do not deserve the big Toblerone.
Good luck, Jeff.
Coco Chanel is ashamed.
I guess it's just me. All right.
Fun.
Well, I was just bringing it in as like I mean, Neo Yokio is an anime, and it did come out this season.
I know people that will fight you on that.
I know a lot of people who will fight me on that, but
like I'm not one of those people. Like I know various definitions of anime. I know that some people would consider this anime, so that's fine.
And it's a Netflix exclusive original anime that just happens to be written by Jaden Smith's Twitter profile. Neo Yokio.
I mean, it was in reality it was written by the Vampire Weekend guy.
Yeah,
I think it was Vampire Weekend,
and which
is like, don't let people who write music for a living write TV shows.
I disagree. I love, so Yazzie hates this show.
That's an understatement. Coco Chanel, may her memory be blessed, is where I signed off.
Coco Chanel, may her memory be blessed is hilarious. This is the Mike Tyson mysteries of anime.
So one thing that frightened me is that Jeff started watching Tiger and Bunny the other night for the first time, and the first thing he said was...
second time.
Sorry, okay, well, you haven't finished it, though.
I never finished it, and
So we're watching it.
That's a tragedy, Jeff.
How can you like this and not like Neo Yokio? And I can't believe you made that like tie between Tiger and Bunny. There's a reason I mentioned this, and that's because I know someone else here is about to get upset about that.
You were talking about you were talking about specifically Fire Emblem.
Wait, what?
We were talking about Fire Emblem in Tiger and Bunny, and you were like, he's so great. And I'm like, how can you like that?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Fire Emblem, the series, not the character.
Which you also care deeply about. And I was just saying, like, how can you like his sense of humor and not Neo Yokio's when they're very similar? They're very, like, hoi polloi.
Similar at all. I'm sorry, but Fire Emblem would never say Coco Chanel, may her memory be blessed. He's better than that.
Yeah, no, that's from what I've been gathering out of Neo Yokio, I haven't watched a full episode, but I feel like I have because of all the clips I've seen posted everywhere.
Yep.
What the feeling I got is like, hey, Ghost Stories was a good dub. How about we just have some people say some shit and then animate around it?
That's not quite so, like,
I know that's not what happened, but
see, Neo Yokio is a really weird and absurd high concept where every single episode is a parody of like an obscure 80s and 90s anime and a parody of an aspect of New York high life culture. So like rich New York culture. And it's weird. Nobody is going to have a proper frame of reference for anything remotely resembling everything that the characters are saying in any of the scenes. But it's goofy, and I think that more often than not, the anime parody is on point. The sense of humor is really funny. If you're into that Adult Swim / Fox ADHD block, dry, taking stuff that shouldn't be taken seriously, super seriously sense of humor. It's uproariously funny. Stuff like, you don't deserve this giant Toblerone, holding the giant Toblerone out in the rain, it's super funny. It's not like a great story by any stretch of the imagination, but the animation is bad in a way that like perfectly emulates how 90s anime had bad animation. But it's a show for a very esoteric set of tastes, and to quote the director, I just hope that people who like Toblerone like it, because that's always been the target audience.
Yeah, that was one thing that the Vampire Weekend guy said.
Yeah, in an interview to promote. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really funny. I do think that they take the characters a little too seriously, but as somebody who, when I saw the first trailer, was like cringing super hard and not willing to even give it a chance,
you gave it a chance.
Yeah, when I actually sat down to watch it, I was just like blown away by how funny it is, and just more sucked in than I'm willing to admit by the drama around Caprese boy martinis and the New York's #1 Bachelor leaderboards, but it's so stupid and over the top. I mean, the fuckboy pretty boy villain, his name is Arcangelo, which is, it's just great. It's just great. It's not for everybody, but if you can jive with Mike Tyson Mystery's sense of humor and you like anime, I think that this is like a winner for you.
Also, if you understand jive.
So let's move on next to Love is Like a Warm Cocktail, or Love is Like a Cocktail, or whatever. Osake wa fufu ni nate kara.
It's cute. It's 2 minutes long, or like 3 minutes long. No one has any excuse for not watching it.
Yeah, yep. I just wanted to briefly mention that. Has everybody here seen that?
I dropped it halfway through the first episode.
Oh my god, it was like
just
3 minutes long.
Yeah.
I like fully believed you on that.
I believed him too. It's cute.
He doesn't watch anime. I was expecting it.
Yeah, it's basically, I just want to bring this up because it's a lot like I don't understand what my husband is saying, and it's really cute.
Yeah, there's like literally no excuse for not watching it because it's so short.
Next up,
I didn't watch it because I watched literally all of these first episodes yesterday while I was fixing my sound panels.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, and I was willing to skip it because it was a short series and I didn't expect to have to talk about it.
Okay, next anime, King's Game, the animation.
Oh my fucking god.
This is bad.
This is so bad.
I liked it.
This I could tell it was...
You liked it?
I liked it. I didn't think it was good, but I liked it.
I liked watching it too.
You should still be ashamed that you liked it. You should both be ashamed.
It's fun bad.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't even think it's fun bad. I think it's just painful bad.
It's so the premise is there's this whole class, they get text messages, and if they don't do the text messages, they die. Like, if they don't listen to what the text messages say and follow those orders in 24 hours, they die.
Yep.
Which the first night, it's just, this guy has to kiss this girl. And he like waffles on it because he's like, I'm willing to just die because I don't want to go through this game again. Because, the main character's been through the King's Game already.
I'm willing both to die and to kill her.
Just to not have to do this anymore. Yep. And maybe the other people will get it. But then the next task, which is sent out at midnight, by the way, is, hey, don't be asleep. Mm-hmm. And like 8 people die. Yeah. 8 people just die straight off the bat. So it's one of those another type scenarios where it's like a bunch of very generic teenage characters being murdered one by one.
Mm-hmm. Apparently it's rated R17.
That makes sense.
I mean, I hate teenagers, so this is exactly my
so that's what you want. Yeah
it's based off of a novel though.
Yeah, it seems like
so far novel anime haven't been the best. I mean, we got Vatican Kiski Choskan last season. Just like,
I don't know.
I think Hyoka's a novel anime.
It's one of those things that, like, I get wary anytime a anime's title includes the words "the animation."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and also they used like art from the novel as the poster, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the character designs behind the main character look like their anime counterparts. He just looks weirdly over detailed.
Okay, wait. Osama Game is a cell phone novel.
What? What's a cell phone novel?
It's a literary work originally written on a cellular phone via text messaging.
What?
Oh,
a text message sent to who? From who? How does this work?
From King to the
phone
students.
Phone novels started out primarily read and authored by young women on the subject of romance fiction, such as relationships, lovers, rape, love triangles, and pregnancy.
One of these things is not like the other. Hang on.
Yeah. One of these things is not like the other.
Mobile phone novels are gaining worldwide popularity on a broader subject. I still don't get what they are.
What?
Oh. Japanese cell phone novels were also downloaded in short installments and run on headsets or handsets via Java-based mobile web apps.
Oh, Java.
Yeah, so there's this.
So it's not even a novel. It's
It's a series of text messages. Yes, that's going to make for a great anime.
Just like the Golden
There's this thing I see advertised on YouTube all the time, which is this like Textly or whatever. It's a app of like suspense stories that are basically like, they all start with, "Hey Dad, are you home? I hear thumping downstairs." "No honey, I'm not home." "Oh, so what's thumping downstairs?" "Don't go down there. I'm gonna go check it out." "No, don't go down there. It's gonna kill you." "What's gonna kill me? Is that Mom?" "No, your mom, that's not your mom." And then it's just that's all of them. It's just like, and then as soon as it gets to the end of like, "I'm going outside," "No, don't do it. Read more at this app." And yeah, it's like a popular format of delivering suspense stories now. And I mean, it's what Mystic Messenger is, essentially.
Mystic Messenger is just a game.
But Mystic Messenger is that as a visual novel.
Actually, you're right. It is kind of like Mystic Messenger.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I doubt either of you guys have played Mystic Messenger. I don't want to judge those. So.
Nope.
Okay. Mystic Messenger is a game that like sends you messages in the app. They send you like fake text messages to make it seem like the boys are texting you, and that you're like living a life where these guys text you and stuff. So that does make sense that it's like maybe a fake text message thing that you have to like opt into, and then you get like a fake story, like the story's interacting with you, and
that's
like Goosebumps for adults.
I could see this story working as
Goosebumps
like,
for adults is just Stephen King novels.
Yeah,
that's true.
You're right.
Are you saying that Goosebumps isn't for adults?
That too.
But I could see the experience of reading this working really well as like every day you get like a text with the King's Game notifications, and then throughout the day you see like a conversation in like a group chat between all of the characters.
That's what Mystic Messenger is.
Yeah, and that's what I think that this probably was originally, having not actually read
now
it.
They know that they shouldn't make one of Mystic Messenger either.
Yeah, please don't do this, because it's not very easy to adapt a bunch of like text messages into a compelling story.
Yeah. Like I understand how it might have been good while people were experiencing it.
Yeah.
Like just like Mystic Messenger was great while you were experiencing it, but it's not a good game or good story.
No, like,
anyway, moving on.
Yep.
What I want to say what I like about it first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll defend this a little bit. Like, I don't know. I like that it's a little bit cheesy, but it doesn't.
It's a lot cheesy.
It's a lot cheesy, but like I don't even want to say it doesn't take itself overly seriously, because it does, but I kind of like it, okay? It's like popcorn entertainment that I want to sit down and watch just to see what happens.
It's entertaining in the same way that Mahoutsukai.
I think it's interesting that at least in the first episode, because that's all I've seen so far, like all of the king's orders, aside from the sleep thing, which is just vindictive, they've just been petty sex stuff.
Yeah,
like it's clear that he's just doing this because he can, and that's interesting to me.
That is like interesting. I think it's going to go a little bit more or a little bit less tawdry as time goes on, but I feel like it's got a similar appeal to like Mahoutsukai, or if you're the kind of person who can enjoy another, where it's like I mean, Mahoutsukai obviously played that up on purpose and was hilarious, but this is a fun ironic watch.
I'm not even enjoying it ironically. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I legit like this.
Okay.
No,
so you know who we're never inviting back?
I'm not watching this because it's so bad I enjoy it. I'm watching it because I enjoy it.
Okay, so we're gonna come back in a few months. You're gonna be like, "Hey guys, so I got this weird diagnosis from my doctor," and then the next day you're gonna be a robot. That's what's happening.
Yep.
No, it's just that I got this weird text message the other day that said, "Tell everyone you like King's Game."
And you're just hedging your bets. I got it. All right, let's move on to a show that I don't think that anyone will defend, but who knows? Sengoku Nightblood. We're skipping over Robo.
What are you talking about?
You didn't even watch it, did you? You're just saying that to be that guy. I watched
the first episode. According to Mal, I actually finished the first episode.
I was going to say,
promotional art had a very large cast of male characters in a fantasy setting. I haven't watched it.
It's fine. We watched this one with patrons on stream, and we stopped halfway through the episode. That's how bad it was.
Lovely.
There was not a single person watching who was like, "Wait, please, no."
So, what's there to say then?
Skip it.
It's like the most otome game adaptation I think I've ever
watch Code Realize instead.
I mean, it's an otome gacha game is what the impression that I get, and it's basically like every fucking Sengoku story ever mixed with Kagome got sent back in time to watch all of this happen, but also Oda Nobunaga's a werewolf this time, and Hidetoshi whatever, I don't remember all the Sengoku important people, but one of the clans is vampires, so it's Underworld meets other popular successful franchises,
but it's all a gacha game.
And I think it's a gacha game.
So yeah, it comes off like a gacha game.
Has an adaptation of a gacha game ever been good?
Grand Blue
Fantasy.
Yeah, Grand Blue. But the problem is Grand Blue has like a deep story going. That's the whole selling point of Grand Blue as a game, is the story is so fucking good. So Grand Blue doesn't really count.
So it's an asterisk.
Yeah.
All right.
We kind of. Yeah.
I liked replacing all the character names with people from American history just to see how people in Japan might react to this. Because like an isekai story where some kid from a 2017 American high school goes back in time and meets George Washington as a vampire.
Or even better, like General Custer's a vampire and Abraham Lincoln's a werewolf, and wait, they already made that basically.
Yep.
And it was actually good.
It was actually really cool, yeah. But this is just that plus, hey, do you want to fuck all of these boys?
Pretty much, yeah.
Which may or may not be a selling point for you. Does anybody have like anything else they really want to say about this?
Not really.
All right, then let's move on to an actually good show
Loved
that is
it.
again exclusive to Amazon. Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoku.
So
Ryoko.
I fucking loved the intro to this
Tour, right?
because
Girls Last Tour.
I came onto it after finishing Made in Abyss, and I was like, oh, thank God, something can fill the hole that was left by the Abyss. Because it is cute, but at the same time, I don't fucking trust it, which is perfect.
Neither do I. That was the first thing I said. We were watching it, and I was like, oh, fuck, they're cute. I don't trust it.
No, it's Moe Blob
I'm
trying to
scared.
survive the aftermath of an apocalyptic war.
Yeah, and that scares me. That like deeply scares me because I really like them.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep watching because I don't want anyone to hurt them.
I mean, in the first episode,
I don't want them to hurt them.
It's established that they like fuck with each other by holding each other at gunpoint for blocks of calorie mate, which is like, it establishes that this world is pretty damn messed up.
That's what
killed
I mean.
or
I don't want to
killed.
see their messed up life.
Like kill or
I
be
want to
killed, not
believe
be
that there's
killed.
just these cute girls in the snow that forever are in the snow.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
It's unfortunate that it's an Amazon exclusive because I think a lot of people will see it and hear it's Amazon and not bother. If it was Crunchyroll or like something, people might give it a chance. But I think the like how it looks plus it being on Amazon is gonna turn a lot of people off, which sucks.
Because it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's
because
a White Fox
it's the exact same thing. Yeah, White Fox, like holy shit. But it's the exact same reason. Like I'm trying to convince some people to watch Made in Abyss, but they're like, but Amazon, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
I did see the ending of Made in Abyss, and that was fucking upsetting.
Oh my
You
God.
saw it?
I didn't mean to.
Made in Abyss better fucking get more seasons. That's all I'm goddamn saying. Like out of everything I've seen this year, out of everything I have seen this year, if Made in Abyss does not get more, that's a crying shame.
Yeah, I agree. I'm upset because like White Fox, like all of the good White Fox stuff has gone to Amazon over the last little while, and that means that people are missing out on great stuff. Like the Grimoire of Zero was pretty good last season. And this is so good. This is so good.
Please watch it.
And I think we're reaching that flashpoint where Amazon has enough good stuff that if they can just make their service a little bit more appealing by dropping that double paywall, they will get a flood.
Not only that double paywall, but I'm having troubles, like when I was watching this show, for example, I'm having troubles actually getting an HD stream off them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody else is having that problem, but I'm really having that problem, and it's annoying the shit out of me.
Canada is having trouble with that. It's also like I've recently had trouble adding stuff to my watch list on Amazon, which has made it even harder to keep track of the anime that I want to watch on there.
Lovely.
I will say, though, Amazon has amazing subtitles.
They do.
They have the best. I find myself with Crunchyroll subtitles sometimes being like, why did you subtitle it like that? That, like, completely takes away the impact or something.
And usually the answer is that the production committee was you have to do it this way.
Yeah. Something, I don't know how Amazon, if they have people who do it or if they're, like, giving them the subtitles, but their subtitles are really accurate. And like they've had like word plays where I'm like, that's actually a really good translation. Like someone sat down and thought about that wordplay. And they also subtitle every little thing, like during Just Because.
Yeah, Just Because all of the background detail.
If we're talking about Amazon, it was fucking awesome that they subtitle everything.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Yeah, they had hard subs on all of the signs in the background, which was really nice. But yeah, moving back to the show itself.
Yeah, you got Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tristan, it sounds like you've got more to say about it.
Well, I've kind of really covered it because it's one of those shows that, like, I don't want to explain too much because it's not like there's an extremely deep story in it, but it doesn't need to have that. That's not what it's trying to do. So it's much more of something that I would recommend people to experience rather than try to explain.
Yeah.
That's,
it's
pretty much
definitely an atmospheric show. So,
and that's why it's a shame that it's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's basically cute girls doing cute things meets The Road. And
maybe further down the line meets The Purge, for all we know.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what scares me.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this one, which is the exact opposite reaction that I had to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Tsukipro The Animation.
Again, another show with the animation in it. Oh boy.
Yep.
Not only that, but according to the cover art, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 guys. 16 guys, and it has the animation. Yeah, can you guess whether or not I watched
those
this?
are like both of your things.
It is, yeah.
This is another series that is. They saw the success of Utapri and the success of King of Prison, and they were like, let's fucking do it. And they shouldn't have. It's a musical boys anime with CG dance numbers. And it's like, what's that thing that people use to make the anime character dance videos?
Oh, I don't know.
Shit. You know where there's like 1,000 Vocaloid ones of the Vocaloid girls, the 3D models of them just badly dancing?
3D custom girls, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe that's what it looks like we're watching. Yeah. It for real looks like someone was just like trying to make their own AMV to this song using 3D models.
Yeah. And it's
bad.
I mean, the animation on that again wasn't awful, but it like their faces were dead.
Yeah, like, they tried to make them like CG bodies with anime faces, and it was scary.
Yeah, they mocapped real actors. Anyway, it's just
bad. Skip it. Can we skip it? Let's keep it.
Okay. Let's skip it. Let's move on to cute girls.
Oh fuck!
Motorcycle race, 2-car.
Guys don't have faces in this anime.
It's called 2 Cars.
2 cars.
You got a car
on a motorcycle in a competitive
singular,
and there's rainbows.
Love triangle with their teacher who lives in England. 2 cars.
And it's called one of the drivers is
cars.
And one of the drivers, they sadomasochist, and the other one's just the masochist, and they use that to drive their 2 cars.
2 cars.
It's called 2 cars.
2 car. It's just called 2 cars.
That's the thing. Your jokes don't even work. It's fucking singular.
Anyway, next year.
Yeah. Don't watch it.
Well, I'll just briefly describe this.
30 seconds. Go.
It's sidecar racing, and all of the teams are girls who.
It's like that motorcycle anime for girls. Yeah. Of girls.
Yeah. And some of them are like into each other, and
if it doesn't have Ireba Ii,
into their coach.
Less care.
Their faceless coach.
Yeah.
Carrying on.
It's mediocre.
Sucks.
Next up.
Yeah. It's Silverlink, which...
It's Silverlink and it's not Watamote.
Yeah. It's Silverlink on a very tight budget. Moving on. One of the other Amazon exclusives that we really enjoyed, both me and Yazzie, and I don't think that you guys have either seen this.
Nope.
UQ Holder, which is...
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, so
I saw the 2 at the bottom of that and kind of assumed that it was a sequel.
Yeah.
UQ Holder it's technically a sequel to Maho Sensei Negima, but it's actually set in an alternate world a long time after the end of Negima, starring the vampire girl Evangeline from Negima, and Yazzie will tell us more about the premise.
Oh no, I was just going to talk about how it is hardly even a sequel.
Yeah,
it's like not a sequel, and that's why it's so good. I have never seen Negima,
but it's titled as a sequel. That's why it's confusing.
It's what?
It's titled as a sequel, and that's why it's confusing.
Yeah, that's what's stupid. Is like I think people are gonna sleep on it because they think it's a second series, but like I have zero exposure to Negima, like beyond seeing the manga on a shelf once. And I was fully on board. It's good. It's funny.
And Negima's just confusing because it has 2 different shows technically because it was adapted twice. Yeah, it was adapted twice.
But like this is like, I don't know. It's the perfect level of like kind of stupid sexy jokes, but like pretty damn good action. And like I get into the fights and I want to know who's gonna win.
I mean, sexy was something that Negima always did pretty well. But the neat thing, I guess I'd say with this is that like 99% of the cast are not holdovers from Negima because it takes place 80 years in the future and it focuses on Evangeline, who's like the one immortal character who's transferred over, and Negi is kind of in it but kind of not, and it's got connections to Negima,
but none that you have to understand.
But it's its own like shonen road trip anime, basically, where about these characters like going along and making friends, and it strikes like a really good balance between bloody and action.
Yeah, like the actual like violence, I guess, I don't know what other word to use, is really good. Like the fight scenes were great. The him getting hurt was great. By the
Blu-ray censorship image that they use is great.
It's actually pretty great. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that this is one that I did not even hear about. I didn't want to watch it because no one's talked about it, and I was just like, fuck, it's just a sequel. I don't care. And I really care. I want to keep watching it. I was like upset that we ran out of episodes.
Yeah, this is what people should be billing as the new Naruto.
Yeah, this is like an actually kind of good shonen-y.
Yeah, or at least the new Assassination Classroom, because it's got stuff in common with that.
Yeah, I would say this belongs on something like Toonami more than Black Clover.
But you know why it's not getting billed at that? Because neither Crunchyroll,
because it's an Amazon
because Amazon has it, not Crunchyroll or Funimation.
And that's a shame because I think it's going to be overlooked, and
it's a shame. But again, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, maybe we weren't the only ones to get confused, because as far as I'm aware, Funimation really fucking hates Negima because they used to have it, and they got rid of it pretty.
Yeah, quick. I think the second biggest fuck up of this is that they're marketing it as a second series.
Yeah.
If they're putting it in its grave, which is sad. Please watch it.
I mean, Amazon is selling it as just UQ Holder on the site, which is the confusing part of this is if you didn't like Negima already, which is very reasonable because by the end of it gets real bogged down with continuity and stuff, and it maybe stretches on a little bit longer than it should, then you're not going to be immediately attracted to this. But if you did like Negima, the fact that all of the characters that you like from Negima are just gone is going to upset you, and it's just its own really good show in the same way that new seasons of JoJo have nothing to do with previous seasons of JoJo except for like continuity connections,
but like you can still enjoy part 3 right off the bat.
Yeah, or you can still jump into part 4 and it's still one of the greatest manga whether you've read the first parts or not.
I don't know, I think it's a cute story. It's like I'm rooting for the kids. I want to know what they're all like, you know. I'm on board. This is one of the few that I think I will keep up with week for week.
Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend this. All right, we're moving on, Footloose and Fancy Free, to our next entry. And I don't know if anybody's going to recommend Urahara. Crunchyroll's social media has a little bit, which struck us as weird.
Well, no, I understand why. It's a very specific audience that they're aiming for with this. Have you guys watched it at all?
I've seen clips, but I haven't finished the full episode yet. No.
You've seen the clips probably that Crunchyroll has been posting everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead if anyone wants to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
It seems like a thing.
Describe it, Bryant.
I'm gonna describe this about as well as I described Action Heroine Cheer Fruits last time. It's a bunch of people. They like work in a district that's supposed to be like an amusement park, or kind of like the Mont Saint-Michel in France. Like there's this kind of town that people go to for touristy reasons.
Harajuku?
Yeah, that's the name of the town. And like, I don't know.
Boring,
apparently
man.
There's an alien. I think I dropped it before I got to that point.
It's boring, but it's unique. And if you liked, what was that Bear Girls one?
Not Yuri Kuma Arashi. No, you're thinking of Flip Flappers.
No, I was gonna say the bear one. All of the people who I know who fucking loved the Bear Girls one, which I didn't watch, all of them are the same people who are excited about it. So if you liked the Bear Girls anime, you might like this.
I don't know if that connection 100%.
It's just the same people I've noticed. That's all.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody else saying anything good about it except for the same demographic of people, which is,
So this is like, it's just a celebration of Harajuku as like,
but also it's
culture.
like cute girls who all love each other.
Yeah,
it's pretty Yuri. Like they're giving that like go girls. It's girls supporting girls is what it is.
Yeah,
it's
a girl power thing, but I think there's a few things that stand in the way of it being really enjoyable. The first of which is it's got a very weird style that is not always executed with the maximum budget or skill that it needs to really work. Because it's like a really weird looking show, like Flip Flappers weird, but without any of the Sakuga. And the plot is just
boring.
It's about aliens come to Earth, they steal Earth's culture, and these girls with artistic imaginations have to use the embodiments of culture to turn into magical girls and fight the aliens. And
it is pretty, though. I'll say that. The actual, like...
the style of it, so every single, like, texture in it is a real textile texture.
Which is pretty cool.
Which gives it sort of like a Kirby's Epic Yarn feel. But yeah, I don't know. I was just bored with it. I don't know, Bryant, did you enjoy it at all?
I dropped it before the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
No, it was... I didn't see anything there that was worth watching.
Yeah, I was pretty happy when the first episode ended.
Yeah.
I was pretty much like, well, moving on. Like,
that kind of tells you probably should have stopped before the first episode ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think I specifically asked to stop watching it. But this was also one of the first series we watched, which means that we were all gung-ho about it and like, let's watch every anime all the way.
And then suddenly...
So when I was like, can we stop watching it? Jeff was like, no, this is just the first one. So I'm sure if we watched it like halfway through our marathoning, we would have dropped it.
Yeah, this was literally, I think, the first thing that we started watching.
Because Crunchyroll was pushing it so much, so it was,
Hey, and that's the last show that we got to talk about, which is crazy because we're only 2.5 hours into this Weebcast.
You're on your way to rehabilitation.
Holy shit! I am so proud of you, Jeff. You have no idea.
Just big congratulations claps around the room. And that's nice because it gives us a little bit of time to actually like reflect on what our favorite shows of the season are.
So far.
So
maybe we should all say like what our number one recommendation.
We'll go like round table, and I'd say top 3. And
oh God, I can't pick 3.
Yeah,
they're all so bad this season.
I disagree, but Tristan, why don't you go first? What are your top 3 recommendations for this season?
Top 3 recommendations is Ancient Magus Bride. Despite having not seen it, I know perfectly well that is my top pick. Pick number 2, Kino's Journey. And pick number 3, Girls Lust Tour.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to have a lot of crossovers in this.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Bryant, Actually, before we move on, I would like everybody to briefly explain why their picks are their picks.
Oh my gosh, that's
just because we got time. We got a whole half an hour.
Someone here needs to go to sleep.
Yeah,
all of us.
All right. So then, very quickly, then Jeff, if it'll make you feel better, Agent Magus Bride, because I watched the OVA and thought it was fucking amazing, and it was probably a contender for some of my favorite anime of last year, despite being an OVA series compared to everything else that came out last year. Kino's Journey, because again, Kino's Journey was one of my favorite anime of all time. Perfect. And Girls Last Tour, because it fills in the hole that was made by Made in Abyss from last season. I don't know if it's going to be as good as Made in Abyss. I'd like to think it will be. I'd like to hope it will be. But for now, that's where it is.
All right, Brian.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Inuyashiki because it has 2 really good stories. Like, I think it does its emotional bits incredibly well, and then it also does its stupid, violent action bits incredibly well. Plus, the main character is just really endearing. And I like the art style, even though it's all 3D. Gonna go with Girls Last Tour as well, because I just love the bleak atmosphere combined with really cute characters. It's one of my favorite aesthetics. Like when Digibro put out his list of categories of cute girls anime, I saw cute girls do suffering and like, yep, gonna watch all of these right now. And then I'm gonna go with Whales Children of Whales, because it filled in the hole that Made in Abyss left last season.
Yeah, that's a good reason. Although small caveat on that, you can't actually watch it yet because it's on Netflix.
You can't watch it yet. Yep. Also, I'm going to throw out that I haven't seen Ancient Magus' Bride, and that I'm pretty sure that would take one of those spots if I had.
Well, go do that.
Yazzie?
I agree.
All right.
Ancient Magus Bride is like my number 1 right now because there's something in it for everybody.
Yes,
it's a really good, like, it's definitely a good watch with other people anime because you can guarantee everyone, like, if you're like, hey, let's watch anime, maybe watch this, but also it's like just good. And then Recovery of an MMO Addict, because it makes my kokoro go doki doki, and it's sweet and nice and it's just like pleasant. And then probably Yukio Holder, just because it's fulfilling my watch people beat each other up, who's gonna win.
That's perfectly fair.
Because everyone's immortal. How do you find a winner when everyone's immortal?
Yeah,
you push somebody through the pavement
exactly
and leave them there.
Like, I kind of put,
that's why I like that show.
I kind of put Juuni Taisen above that, but I haven't actually sat and watched Yukio Holder because, you know, I thought it was a Negima sequel, so I haven't got to it.
Well, you should sit and watch.
I should.
It's my recommendation. So.
Okay, I will do that.
Yay, go ahead.
Juuni Taisen, I'd say you'd go for if you want more bloody action, but still fun, like still really fun.
Your top 3, go ahead.
My top 3, I would have to give it to Just Because it's, you know, that's just my pine jam.
Just because.
But I think it's a really, really strong drama so far. I've only seen the first episode, but it like scratches an itch that not a lot of shows can scratch well, because I think it's a lot harder to do really good down to earth drama than it is to do fun over the top action well, or at least well enough to be entertaining. I am also going to recommend the Ancient Magus Bride, because it's just like...
This basically means it's the law. Everybody listening has to watch it.
Yeah.
Or should. We're not going to force you, Baka.
It's not like I want you to watch it or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ancient Magus Bride is just like charming in all of the ways that I've been missing in my anime.
I specifically want to watch it right now because I want to see more of him.
Yes.
That's why.
And it just scratches all my itches. By the way, if you guys like the Ancient Magus Bride, you can read the manga on Bookwalker, and you can read Frau Faust, which is a very fun adaptation of the Faust myth from the same author on Bookwalker. So I would say check those out. And then it's really hard for me to nail down a third place pick, because there's a lot of really good stuff that I want to recommend. But since nobody else has mentioned it yet in their top 3, I will say Juuni Taisen.
Yeah, Juuni Taisen would be like my number 4.
Oh yeah, I don't even know why we all skipped that one. I guess we all gushed about it enough.
Well, we did, but I'm like, I kind of would have put it at number 4. So since we were doing top 3, so
yeah, just because I'm so unsure. Like these 3, I'm sure about. I don't know about that one.
And then finally, Evil or Live. Just as a bonus recommendation.
Only 2 episodes though, so you can get to the titty grab.
Yeah, you just have to watch long enough to get to 2001 a tit grab. Like, oh god, it's if you have been missing prison school and you don't care about it having a budget or good writing or good character designs, Evil or Live is for you.
If you get your shitty recommendation, then I demand to say that King's Game is worth watching.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to give that my honorable mention.
What is one? I guess we've already said ours. What's one terrible show that you think people should watch?
King's Game.
See, I don't tell people to watch terrible shows. So,
or what? Okay, what's one show that you think nobody should watch?
Sho-bitch. Sorry.
Potentially. Anything? Yeah, let's go with Tsukipro The Animation, because again, it follows the 16 guys on the cover plus the animation in the title. We'll go with that.
Either of the Music Boys animes. Yeah. Houseki no Kuni isn't good.
Yeah, that's probably for the best, and I'm gonna throw mine in for
Imouto-chan?
Irae.
Yeah, that's my number 1 avoid at all costs.
Yeah, it's a mess and a fucking half.
At least Sho-bitch, you can be like, okay, well, I'm seeing some kind of playful sexual things. This is good enough. Irae is just I feel like I wasted my time.
I would also say, since it's the one of these shows that I think people might actually be interested in, skip the fuck out of Black Clover.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're a huge fan of shonen and you just you like the shonen formula,
you're probably not listening.
I'd only recommend Black Clover if everybody you know is watching it and you want to make sure that you're not behind in conversation.
If you don't care, that's that there's nothing special about it.
So I would say if you really love shonen anime and you've already seen Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Naruto,
Hunter x Hunter,
Bleach, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're the kind of person who has already seen everything there is to see.
If you've seen every other shonen anime that's ever been made,
then nothing in here will impress you.
That's yeah. All right. And that concludes the Weebcast at 2 hours and 40 minutes. I don't know how we did it.
Well, we're not done yet.
We'll follow with 2 hours of silence.
Oh, we are not done yet. We've got to sign out, and we've got to promo the next Weebcast, which is everybody who's listening to this, please go see at your earliest convenience A Silent Voice in theaters. It's coming to theaters October 20th,
21st, and I think there are a couple of showings after that. And if you're in Canada, there are going to be showings in November.
Yeah. Wow. And 11 Arts is handling that, and we're going to be having a talk on the Weebcast next week. So send your comments about the movie itself into weeklyweebcast@gmail.com, and we're going to discuss. We're going to have a 45-minute discussion where we just talk about our opinions of it, and then we're going to Yazzie is going to have a whip and a timer, and we're going to keep it down to that.
Okay.
So just a normal Thursday.
Yeah.
So just a normal Thursday.
At the Jeff and Yazzie household.
Whip, timer, and talking about Koi no Katachi.
Yeah. And then, we're going to open things up, and we're going to read your comments, and we're going to sort of react to the most interesting of the commentary.
And, discuss.
Anime. So make sure you tune into that when you get the chance. And also, we will be giving away to a listener of the podcast a signed mini manga signed by the two lead voice actors in a silent voice.
Oh, I didn't know that. Can I not be a part of it and listen instead?
You wish, baby.
I'm pretty sure there's rules against that.
There's super rules against that. There's like laws against that. Anyway,
I want it.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the seasonal Weebcast.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah. For once, it was shorter than any of the seasons of shows that you could be watching instead of listening. So you're welcome for that. I'm Jeff through Professional Shitbag, joined today by Tristan.
Stay frosty, everyone.
By Explanation Point.
What up?
And by Yazzie.
Hi, bye.
And we are all signing out, but before we do, just please check out Explanation Point and Glass Reflection on YouTube, because their content's amazing.
Please.
Explanation Point. Please.
I also just launched 2 new channels. Side Notes and Questing Mark for music and gaming, respectively.
Ooh. Oh, that's good to know. We should check those out.
Yes.
All right.
Interested.